underwent today has been deemed a success. The team will not put a timeline on Wilson's return, but it seems to be the same as the previously mentioned range of 2 to 4 weeks. Joe Flacco is in line to start the regular season opener. Nestor Cortez on the hill tonight when the struggling Yankees look to get back on track as they continue their series against the Rays. After a great start to the season, New York scuffling since the All-Star break. 8-16 has been shut out 4 times the last 9 games. Injuries, just one issue for the Yankees these days, points out ESPN and Yes Network MLB analyst David Cohn.
Their pitching went through a little bit of a slump. Their rotation kind of got knocked around, and the offense was still producing, and now it's just reversed. The last go-round through the rotation, the pitching's actually been pretty good, and now it's the offense that's kind of swamping 2 straight shutouts. So it's kind of that perfect storm of, the old cliche, when we hit, we don't pitch, and when we pitch, we don't hit.
David Cohn on Barton Hahn. Mets right-hander Carlos Carrasco diagnosed with a left oblique strain. He could miss 3 to 4 weeks.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusu. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Excited about tomorrow, y'all. Tomorrow morning, LSU will scrimmage inside of Tiger Stadium, and we will have the opportunity to watch the scrimmage in its entirety. So we'll have a full report on that tomorrow, and we'll have a much more clarity on the LSU quarterback situation now with Miles Brennan no longer in the fold, Jayden Daniels, Garrett Nussmeier, who did meet with the media today. We'll jump into what they had to say here in just a quick second. So also Saints-Packers joint practice, number 1 in Green Bay today. So we will get you a practice report in hour number 3 from Sean Faazende, who's in Green Bay. Let you hear what Dennis Allen had to say. Some roster bubble. Saints have already made some roster moves. So got a ton to get to today. And glad to have you aboard with us here. So for the first time in fall camp, LSU's 2 quarterbacks that are competing for the starting job, Jayden Daniels and Garrett Nussmeier, met with the media. And the most obvious first question is whether or not a starter had been named. First up, here's Jayden Daniels' answer.
Have they told you you're the starter yet?
They haven't not said anything.
Pretty succinct. And maybe I could go into semantics. And the question was, have they told you you're the starter? He said they haven't announced anything. Well, we know they haven't announced anything, but they've told you you're the starter. So we'll take him at face value and say no. They did also ask Garrett Nussmeier the same question if Jayden had been named the starter.
Have they told you that Jayden was going to be the starter?
Have they told you that?
No.
Oh. Man, I ain't heard nothing about that. Like I said, we're focused on winning games. So you probably know more than I know about the situation. So hey.
Very savvy for a young guy. He's a redshirt freshman, but let's not forget, he is the son of a coach. He has been around high-level football his entire life, and I like that a lot about Garrett Nussmeier. I will say that a big part of this whole Miles Brennan circumstance is that it does, in many respects, clear the deck. I am not ever going to say that your team is better without having quarterback depth, without having a guy who was being the 6th year. I mean, if you got the luxury of a 6th-year senior as your number 3 quarterback, that's a luxury not many programs have. So I'm never going to say it's a good thing. If you're looking to spin it to the positive is it does kind of clear the deck, because now we know it's two. It's down to Daniels and Nussmeier, Nussmeier and Daniels, however you want to say it, and however it may go. But here we go, and we should learn more after the scrimmage on Wednesday. Jayden Daniels talking about the quarterback room that they have at LSU with he, Nussmeier, and now Walker Howard.
Not just me, but keeping all the quarterbacks on our P's and Q's. We have a great room. It doesn't matter who's going to start here. I know that we all helped each other prepare the best that we can, to go out there and help the team win. So for me personally, just come here and teaching Nuss and them the things I have, just in case, they are the starter, that they can learn from older guys, play some years. They're great players, great guys. So really just on that leadership part.
And it's great to hear that as a veteran guy, he's helping the younger guys. But the other part of this, too, that I keep harping on is, you're at the point where you got to make a decision. And Brian Kelly knows this, you're at the point in camp where whenever we have ever seen a situation like this, where you had a battle, eventually you have to pare down the reps. You get to the point where you can't rotate 3 or even 2 guys every single rep with the first team. Even if it becomes an 80-20 split with the guy that's going to be the starter, at some point you've got to pare down the reps to get the guy the reps to go be ready to go play and win a football game for you. So that's what Jayden Daniels was asked about, the importance of Wednesday's scrimmage in the quarterback battle, the scrimmage that's going to happen Wednesday morning in Tiger Stadium.
Us in the quarterback room, we don't really look at it as a competition. You can look at it as another opportunity to go out there and get better and help the team get better, because at the end of the day, we run the offense. The coach is going to be on the sidelines in the skybox. At the end of the day, everything is solely focused on us. So we look at it as, how can we help the offense? And at the end of the day, like I said, everybody's prepared to play the position, prepared to be the starter. That's all we worked on. That's a relationship that we all built to go out there. But I feel like Wednesday, as a team overall, to go out there and just see us compete. At the end of the day, we got to compete. We got a game in 2 weeks around there. So be able to go out there and just have that feeling of a scrimmage is a big thing for us.
2 weeks from Sunday, y'all. 2 weeks from Sunday. Like, you've got to get to the point where, yes, you want to get the feeling of competing and you want to get better as a team, but you've got to know this answer. And Brian Kelly and the staff have to know the answer. Even if they don't tell us, they've got to know the answer. So same question went to Garrett Nussmeier about the importance of Wednesday's scrimmage.
It's just another practice. It's the mindset you got to have, right? Just another opportunity to step in between the two lines and go play football. The game doesn't change just because it's a scrimmage. A scrimmage in a game is practice reps. So, if you think about it that way, then you're always prepared.
Garrett Nussmeier, again, talking about the scrimmage. A couple of other points from the conversation the two quarterbacks had with the media today. One of the big questions that, if there's 2 real objections that I've heard about Jayden Daniels, it's he's inaccurate and he's a run-first quarterback. They asked Jayden about that. Is he being unfairly labeled as a running quarterback?
I don't really pay attention to that type of stuff. I hear at the end of the day, everybody has cell phones and stuff like that, so it's going to pop up. But just being here, just the main thing is just being the best version of me. If that's a part of my game, running. It's times where I could stay in there a little bit longer. Something that we've been working on, Coach Kelly, Denbrock, Coach Sloan, with all those type of things. But that's not just me, that's just everybody. They don't want us to lose who we are at the end of the day, what makes us what we are, how we got here. So, it's just fine-tuning the little things so at the end of the day we can go out there and help the team win.
So, by the way, I don't know if he's unfairly labeled a run-first quarterback, but he does undeniably have that skill set as a runner. If you asked me, put all now 3 scholarship quarterbacks and say, who rate their skill sets, release, accuracy, arm strength, running ability, footwork, all of it. Okay, put them all. Like if it's a baseball player with 5 tools, okay? Think of all those tools with all 3 quarterbacks and say, who has the best one of any of these things? I would tell you it's a close battle between Jayden Daniels' running ability and Walker Howard's release, based on what we've been able to see. It just looks different coming out of Walker Howard's hand, and it looks different when Jayden Daniels takes off and run. As a runner, as a freshman, he ran for 355 yards. As a sophomore, again, COVID year, he only ran 33 times. It was a shrunken schedule. But last year, he averaged 5. That sophomore year, he averaged nearly 7 yards a carry. Again, smaller sample size. Last year, he averaged better than 5 yards a carry and ran for 710 yards. The point being, with this offensive line, which we don't know how good they're going to be, and ear to ground, you hear mixed things like the LSU defensive line is having their way right now with this offensive line. Is that because the defensive line is really good, which, by the way, I think they're going to be spectacular, or the offensive line struggling? Probably a combination of the two. So you may need a quarterback who can make plays with his feet. That's the appeal of a guy like Jayden Daniels or Garrett Nussmeier, who can run and make plays with their feet. So even though he may not be labeled or like the label as a running quarterback, the fact that he can make plays with his feet does matter. Now, the label that Nussmeier has is, what's the word? What's the word everybody uses when they talk about Garrett Nussmeier? Oh, he's got that gunslinger mentality. Here was Nussmeier on being a gunslinger.
I mean, that's something I've said before. I think it got lost in translation a little bit, as far as, I'm still going to, take shots, and any quarterback should, when they're given to you, though, I think is the biggest thing that I've learned is take them when they're given to you, take them when you're supposed to take them, and just continue to lead the offense and move the chains is what I've been taught my whole life.
Guys, we got to know Miles Brennan over the last 5 years. And it's part of the reason he was such a sentimental favorite, because he's been here for so long. We all feel like we knew him. And we're pulling for him. One of the two guys you just heard is going to be LSU starting quarterback. And at some point, it may be either or both of them. You got to start to get to know the two guys that are going to lead this offense in the first year under Brian Kelly, and hopefully back to prominence. It starts officially today with these two guys. All right, it's after further review. We're going to let you hear much more from both of the quarterbacks as they spent a lot of time with the media today, as did Ali Gay. We're going to get to all of that over the course of the show, and glad you're with us. When we come back, today NFL rosters have to be cut down from 90 to 85. The Saints got a jump start on that yesterday. They didn't just cut down 5. They made like a dozen roster moves. So a couple of them stand out. I want to touch on that. We'll do it next on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Baton Rouge General Hospital, brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org. Part of the Mayo Clinic Care Network. I tell you about that every single day, the Mayo Clinic Care Network. And what that does is it allows your doctor, your physician here in Baton Rouge, the opportunity to have clinical collaboration with the experts at the Mayo Clinic at no extra cost to you. Your doctor here can consult with the physicians there, has access to their research, again, at no extra cost to you. That is an exclusive, by the way, to the Baton Rouge General here in this market. brgeneral.org to learn more. You want to see a list of all the services, the many different ways that the Baton Rouge General is caring for the Baton Rouge community in greater Baton Rouge? brgeneral.org to learn more. brgeneral.org for the Baton Rouge General Hospital. Part of the Mayo Clinic Care Network. Learn more online at brgeneral.org.
Go back to school in style with a new or pre-owned vehicle from Corval Toyota in Opelousas. It's an easy process, and vehicles are getting to our lot weekly. Make the decision now or reserve your new Toyota today. Come on down to Corval Toyota in Opelousas. That's Happy Town, USA.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Before we begin any electrical work here, we perform a home safety check that begins at your electrical panel to make sure that you and your family are safe. For all your upgrades, installations, and repairs, call Mr. Electric.
Bayou Ford has $14,000 off MSRP on a new 2021 Ford F-150. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. Miller Lite has more taste and only 96 calories. It's Miller time.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Well, I'd say this. I'm not even sure I know what a cheese curd is. So now, I'll pretty much eat anything, so if you put it in front of me, I'll probably eat it, but I don't know what a cheese curd is. Listen, I'll take your word for it. Bring me something tomorrow, I'll taste one. I like it.
It's a smaller mozzarella stick. That's Dennis Allen today, the Saints and the Packers. Joint practice up right there in the shadows of Lambeau Field. By the way, Sean Faazende is there. A huge Saints media contingent is there. Sean's going to join us today. Graff will join us tomorrow. So we're going to get you updates from the Saints joint practices throughout the week, and we're very grateful for that. I'm always hesitant with the joint practices. In many instances, they can be very productive, and you'll get more out of the practices than the actual preseason game, because this is the opportunity where your starters are going to go get work in. I mean, the same starters that sat against the Texans are going to sit this week again. I mean, some of them may get some run out there, but Jameis Winston's day-to-day, and the same guys largely who you don't expect to see play in a preseason game, Cam Jordan, Demario Davis, like they're going to get their work at practice this week. So the practices are more valuable than the preseason game when you do the joint practices. The problem is oftentimes you have fights and skirmishes, so everybody be on Trevor Penning alert right now. And see if Dennis Allen can get some cheese curds. Muse, did you go to Lambeau when the Saints played there in 2016?
You mean LSU?
Yeah. I'm sorry. When LSU played Wisconsin?
I did not.
You did not, Paulie? No, you didn't go?
Not to the LSU game.
Okay. But you went when the Saints played at Lambeau.
Yes.
Was that 2011? No, it couldn't have been 2011. That was too long ago.
17, I think.
Okay, 2017. Did you have a cheese curd?
I did.
What did you think?
It was okay.
Paul, so elaborative in a talk radio format. Thank you, Paulie. Yes, it was just
Didn't
okay.
blow me away.
Okay. What didn't blow you away? Was it the taste? Was it the texture?
It just didn't have much flavor.
Would you agree that it was a smaller cheese stick?
Absolutely.
Huh. But they're usually not like... Are curds fried, though?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
The cheese curds that I had were not fried. I don't think they have to be fried. I remember having this conversation.
What were they? Wait a minute. What were they? If they weren't fried?
Maybe they were. Maybe it was just totally different. But shout out. So I went to high school. This is really random roundabout. I'm going to bring it all back. Went to high school with Jason May, who married Brittany LeBlanc. of LeBlanc's, the grocery store chain, which I believe has now been bought by Rouse's, who's a sponsor of ours, of course. And Brittany was like the cheese buyer or something like that. Like, it was crazy. She had some weird, like, where she's very good cheese palate. And so I remember being with them on that trip, and like she was explaining all the curds and the cheese. I don't get it. I didn't think it was great. I can't say that I have a super refined cheese palate, but it would be something that I'd be interested in learning about. So I don't blame Dennis Allen for not having having had a cheese curd, because you almost specifically have to go there. I don't know that I've ever seen a curd on a menu anywhere around here. Have you? Is anybody?
No.
Let me know. Here's what I'm going to do.
It's definitely not called that.
Right. Let me know if there is anyone in this area who knows of a restaurant that sells or serves curds. I legitimately would like to try a curd again, because that was it's been 6 years. And if I'm being very, very honest, we flew up there. I did the show on Thursday. Friday was sort of a day where we got to tour Lambeau in the morning, did the show Friday. So it was really a work trip for me. I did Saturday morning pregame with Hanny, and then I did postgame as well. Like, it was a largely work trip with some play mixed in, and Friday night was a total disaster. Like, when I mean Friday night, LSU fans took over Lambeau Field. Like, I don't remember what the place was called. Someone who was there will tell me, but it was a bar like directly across this breezeway from Lambeau Field, and they had a block party with a band outside, and it was the restaurant there had stopped serving food, but they were serving you tons of drinks, so everybody was drunk and hungry, and it was a late party, and a lot of people either didn't make it to the stadium for the 2:30 kickoff or made it looking and feeling really, really, really rough. Friday was one of them nights, like where you really wanted a night kickoff Saturday to give yourself the day to kind of rebound a little bit. A little puke and rally for a lot of people. But let me know if you, and honestly, I very seldom, if ever, open the YouTube chat, but maybe you could check to see if anyone in the YouTube chat, the Bayou Ford YouTube chat, has a recommendation for curds. In Louisiana, you can text me or 225-396-4400, 396-4400, or tweet me at Matt Moscona. Please let me know. I'm sincerely interested in learning about curds. Okay. Wow, that was a really random deviation. If anybody says anything, let me know, and we'll circle back to it. Please make a note. We'll come back to it. So NFL rosters have to cut from 90 to 85 today, Tuesday. But the Saints, the Saints got busy early and made about a dozen roster moves on Monday. I'll run through them very quickly. They signed linebacker John Bostic, defensive end Nico Lalos, defensive tackle Jaleel Johnson, who they let go a week ago after missing several days of practice to make room before the Texans game. Now brought him back. They waived Jordan Brown with injury designation. They waived Isaiah Pryor with an injury designation. Defensive lineman TJ Carter was waived, as was safety Jack Corner. Scott Patchin, the defensive end, was also waived. Kicker John Parker Romo, an undrafted rookie out of Virginia Tech, he was waived. The two biggest surprises were wide receiver Aesop Winston and offensive lineman Ethan Greenidge, who was designated to IR, and then defensive back Bryce Thompson released with an injury settlement. So a couple of things that I'd like to roll through here with the ones that actually stand out. Linebacker John Bostic is interesting to me, because we have focused so much here when we've talked about the Saints so far in this camp about two positions primarily. It's running back and linebacker, right? I mean, largely I think we know who the offensive linemen are going to be, who's making the team on the defensive line, who's making the team in the secondary, who's making the team at wide receiver. It's really running back, linebacker. That's kind of it. So when the Saints sign John Bostic, it's going to catch my attention because Bostic's a guy that's played a ton. He brings a really veteran presence into this room that has, right now, a lot of inexperienced guys that we might... Chase Hansen played really well against Houston. Andrew Dowell has played, is practiced well and shown well. But with Bostic, you're talking about a guy who's a former second-round pick of the Bears back in 2013. He has started 82 games in his career. He's played 107 games. He was in the playoffs back in 2020. He's played for 5 different teams, so he's been a bit of a journeyman since he's been in the league over 8 years, but he has played a ton of regular season NFL football, and you don't hang around NFL rosters for nearly a decade if you can't suit it up and run, and John Bostic has done that. So, look, I mean, the Saints, they brought in a veteran in Kiko Alonso who retired after one practice. It's very clear they know what they have in DeMario Davis, who's one of the best linebackers in football. They're very high on Pete Werner, the second-round pick, who they're bringing along slowly to get him healthy to be ready to go for the opener. After that, it's a giant question. Like, is Zach Bond even going to make the team this year? But what they're trying to do very clearly is bring in some veteran presence at linebacker. That's why they brought Kiko Alonso back, and it's why they've now added John Bostic. So I'm not ready to make any bold prediction because I haven't seen John Bostic yet play with this team. But that's an interesting one because you can look at the pattern that's mapping, that they keep trying to add a veteran into this linebacker group, as they did with Kiko Alonso and now John Bostic. So keep an eye on John Bostic. He'll be a very interesting one. I mentioned Jaleel Johnson as well. The Saints' defensive line, they're certainly looking for depth, and Johnson has been here, and he might be ultimately a guy who makes this team or be part of a rotation. But David Onyemata, we know, is a lock to make the team and might be the only one. But when you see guys like Malcolm Roach and Shai Tuttle, and we kind of know some of the guys who are the usual suspects there, unless if the Saints could make a trade to bring in a more veteran player or sign a free agent. The name that I'll continue to throw out, who remains unsigned, is Ndamukong Suh. And it's probably a situation where Ndamukong Suh is sitting there going, 36 years old, played forever, don't really need to go through training camp, look for a needy team and maybe a great situation where you can be a starter and go to a winning team and have an opportunity to jump right in. Like, that would make a lot of sense for Ndamukong Suh at 35 years old, who, again, has never missed a game in his career due to injury. So we'll keep an eye on that as it transpires. But on the defensive line, that's the guy I'm still keeping an eye on. The other two roster moves that the Saints made outside of Bostic that was interesting to me, mentioned Aesop Winston. Winston's a little bit of a surprise cut because he's played so well. He's 25 years old. He has basically spent his career on the practice squad. And it's not just because he's been a good receiving option, but because he has been a special teams ace. He's a guy that's been able to return punts and kicks and cover punts and kicks, similar in the mold that Courtney Roby filled for the Saints years ago. That's what Aesop Winston's done. But the problem is the Saints rarely, if ever, keep 6 receivers. And unless if it's a special teams ace. But you already have Deontay Hardy, who's going to be your return specialist. He's been an all-pro return specialist. So Aesop Winston's not taking Deontay Hardy's job as a return specialist. So there's probably not a role for him on this team, and you already know who your receivers are going to be. It's going to be Michael Thomas and Jarvis Landry and Chris Olave. Those are your first 3. And then the next 2 are very likely Marquez Callaway and Deontay Hardy. That's your 5. So Traquan Smith's going to get cut, and it's hard to see a spot for Aesop Winston, considering you've got a return specialist in Deontay Hardy, and maybe a defensive back like Justin Evans becomes a special teams ace who makes the team along with JT Gray. So what the Saints probably are doing here is taking a guy and saying, hey, look, before rosters go fill up, we're going to let you go have an opportunity to catch on somewhere else where you can make a team, because they know he's not going to make this roster, and he's a good player who can play in the NFL. And the other one that was interesting was offensive lineman Ethan Greenidge. Again, running through the roster moves that the Saints made. Ethan Greenidge went to IR. So, again, injury has cost him his season now for the 2nd consecutive year. And this is a disappointing one because he's been one of those guys that they like a lot. They signed him as an undrafted free agent in 2019, kept him on the practice squad. In 2020, he was promoted to the active roster. He played in 15 games in 2020, including the playoffs. So they like the player a lot. And then he was set to make the team again last year. And when you think about all the injuries that happened a year ago, he would have been right in the mix. But again, injury cost him the entire season in 2021. And really, that opened the door for Calvin Throckmorton. Throckmorton was the one on the interior that made the most of that, and James Hurst at left tackle as well. But Throckmorton was the one that really stepped up as that rotational guy on the interior, as a backup guy who ended up playing. And Throckmorton ended up playing in 17 games with 14 starts a year ago. had Greenidge not gotten hurt, that could have been Ethan Greenidge. But it's unfortunate. It's an unfortunate circumstance where he got injured. Someone else took the opportunity to make the most of it. You better believe Calvin Throckmorton's going to make this team. And now you just look at what's going to happen with Greenidge. So Greenidge right now is 24 years old. It's probably the end of his time in New Orleans because you look at, as I mentioned, Throckmorton, who's going to be on the team, and then you got guys like Forrest Lamp who are battling for a job. It opens the door for Landon Young, who's a draft pick a year ago, to maybe make the team and take some of those reps. So for Ethan Greenidge, he's on IR, he's done for the year, but this might be the end of his time in New Orleans as other guys are going to have that opportunity. And we've seen guys make the most of those opportunities in New Orleans as sort of the swing lineman. Senio Kelmete did it and got a nice contract in Houston. We saw Will Clapp do it for years, on and off the practice squad, was sort of that tackle eligible. He played center when they needed him. Got a nice contract with the Chargers this year. Throckmorton's the guy who's probably next in line for that. Greenidge could have been, but unfortunately injury looks like it's going to cost him his opportunity in New Orleans. So those are the first cut downs for the Saints. Again, they had to go from 90 to 85, but they made a dozen roster moves on Monday. Next week, they'll have to go from 85 to 80, and then they'll get to the final cut down where they get down to the 53-man roster. So we will keep watching, and we'll have another big wave next week after the Saints play Green Bay this coming weekend, in week 2 of the preseason. All right, it's after further review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. We'll knock out a quick break. We'll go around the SEC in 30 minutes from right now. I want to reintroduce you to Colby Richardson, the McNeese transfer cornerback who is taking reps with the first team out at LSU. We'll get to know him a little bit better again in about 30 minutes from right now. Around the SEC is next. Stay here.
AFR.
Brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, Bluebonnet. Dine-in, carry-out, or delivery. 28 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings. The accolades, undeniable. Voted best wings in Baton Rouge. Also, a top 10 wing restaurant by USA Today. A top 5 sports bar by ESPN. What more could you want than award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, a full-service bar, and any sport you want to watch on TV? That's at Pluckers. You want more? How about sports trivia? Every single Tuesday at the Nicholson location. Y'all, LSU's back in session. You better believe it's going to be popping over there tonight. Nicholson, 8:30. Hunt Palmer hosting sports trivia. Get your team together. Every team gets to spin the prize wheel. So even if you don't win a round, you're still going to leave with something because every team gets to spin the prize wheel during trivia at Pluckers. Nicholson, Bluebonnet, dine-in, carry-out, delivery, Pluckers. You don't like our wings. We'll give you the bird.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
A heady play by our good friend Brandon Landry, the founder CEO of Walk-Ons, who texted me and said, "Who needs a curd when you can get a log?" And he sent this beautiful, professional photo of the cheese logs at Walk-Ons with an ice cold draft beer next to it. It's a very...
Those things are really good, too.
It's also a very pro move.
Oh, yeah.
That's a very, very pro move. I mean, look, and you know what this also means is that he had on his phone the professional photo of the cheese log ready to go and at the ready. You know, I mean, this guy, you don't get to be what Walk-Ons has become without being a little bit of a guy, right? I mean, let's talk about it.
You think Brandon Landry just texts professional pictures of the menu to people all the time?
No, probably not. Because I mean, let me see. I'll scroll back on my text.
Just like a picture of the cheese fries with you up or something.
Now let me see. Look at the photos we've. Look. I tell you. Here's one of a very professional-looking slider in front of small sliders. I mean, he might
just do this.
He's got the album on his phone where he just has them every now and again. Okay, well, where do we get a curd? You said there's some...
no. I mean, saw Overpass Merchant was listed. A Blue Store was listed.
Did you Google this or people have shared this?
People have shared this in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat.
Okay. Where else?
Smiling Dog was listed.
What is the Smiling Dog?
It's a pub on Sherwood.
Oh, okay.
It's a pretty good spot, yeah.
I like pubs. They do local beer, like craft beer?
Yeah, they do.
Speaking of which, Lee Feinswog in about 45 minutes. Hey, how about that transition there? Volleyball, by the way. There it is. I like it. All right. I do want to try a curd. It's been a minute. You know what I probably have to do is to just bring the parallels from the 2016 trip. I probably need to get Brittany LeBlanc May to come in studio with some curds and do the whole thing, and maybe bring Jay Ducote in. Ooh. You know what?
This could be a good. You've
been hanging out with Slip Bertram too much.
It could be a good Friday tailgate segment for Jay.
I don't want to wait though. I don't want to wait another month.
I guess
it's 2 weeks from
2 weeks from Sunday. Yeah, man. Week zero is next week.
That's so bizarre.
Yeah.
Was it last year that we had week 0 with Florida and Miami, or was that 2 years ago?
It might have been 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't really think there was a big week 0 game.
We usually get a good week 0 game, don't we?
Usually.
Who's playing week 0 this year?
Nebraska and Northwestern are playing in Dublin. Does that do anything for you?
Yeah,
okay,
absolutely.
Yeah, you like that?
It's a Big Ten matchup.
Florida State's got somebody. I mean, that's what I watched last year was UCLA's week 0 game.
I forgot they had a week 0.
Yeah, they played Hawaii and beat the snot out of them.
Dorian Thompson-Robinson.
Yeah.
You know, when I think about the Florida State game, the one thing... So, not to get... Oh, God. I'm so deviated now. I looked, I was like... we still have to do around the SEC and all this stuff. The cheese curd thing has thrown us for a loop. Get it back together, kid. I was talking to myself. Last year with the UCLA game, so often whenever I'm looking at a game, if I can't make up my mind, I'll generally look at 3 factors: coach, quarterback, venue. Chip Kelly's a better coach than Ed Orgeron.
Yeah.
Dorian Thompson-Robinson's played forever, is a veteran guy who came back last year. He was better than Max Johnson as a first-year starter.
Yeah.
And UCLA was at home. Like, LSU still should have won the game, but coach, quarterback, venue. It all played in and factored in to UCLA winning, which is why when I look at LSU Florida State, coach, give me Brian Kelly over Mike Norvell.
Yeah.
Quarterback, Travis from Florida State is a returning starter. He's not been great. Let me see. If it is Jayden Daniels, he's certainly a more veteran quarterback. But then venue, you've got to give LSU the nod. It's going to be a de facto home game. So even if it's let's say LSU's 2-0-1, if the quarterbacks are a push, you go 2-0-1. It's the reason I like LSU in the game. All right, it's after further review. Yeah, we're late. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Alabama Crimson Tide.
A big night tonight in Tuscaloosa. The City Council will vote this evening on an application for Brian Dennehy Stadium's concessions company to serve alcohol at football games. If the 7-member council votes in favor, it must still be approved by the state of Alabama's Alcohol Beverage Control Board back in January. The university did apply for a license to sell alcohol at Coleman Coliseum for basketball and gymnastics meets. But Brian Dennehy Stadium would be next. Big vote tonight.
The Auburn Tigers.
Kicker Ben Patton, who played in 4 games last season, he's entered the transfer portal. Clearly a quitter. If you leave your team right now in this part, you're soft and you're a quitter. Patton was expected to be number 3 on Auburn's depth chart. Look, even if you're going to be the number 3 kicker, you're leaving right now. You're soft and you're a quitter, obviously. Anders Carlton and Alex McPherson ahead of him, 5'10", 203-pounder. He was the backup last year, and when Anders Carlson got hurt, he finished the remainder of the season. He was also the holder for the bulk of the season.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
Tennessee added a basketball recruit for the 2023 class, 4-star Freddie Dilione. Dilione, D-I-L-I-O-N-E. Is that what we're going to go with? Dilione. Dilly 1.
I like that.
Get it? O-N-E 1. Get it? Dilly 1. As in, I wonder what happened to the Oneaters. Never mind. Some of you got the reference. Don't worry about it. He's a guard from North Carolina. He's the number 87 prospect in the country, 6'4", 185. Offers from Bama, Virginia, VCU, and Wake Forest. The Vols have the number 11 class in the country. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. Presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy, Trey Beal, and our friends at Gulf Coast. Did it hit you? Did it get you? I'm sorry, Paulie. Gulf Coast Office Products, GCOPnet.com. GCOPnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Official office equipment provider of the New Orleans Saints, the New Orleans Pelicans, the LSU Tigers, and the ULL Raging Cajuns. That's what I get for going quickly. I was speeding up, and I didn't crumple the ball enough, so there was just not enough density there. And so when I threw it, it just sailed on me. But I thought it cleared you. You got the back of your head?
You got the top of my hair.
Top of your hair. Give a little haircut there, Paulie. You're welcome. By far, the best NIL deal done so far. DeColdis Crawford, who was from Louisiana, from Shreveport, was at one point an LSU commitment, flipped to Nebraska, where Mickey Joseph, of course, is now the wide receiver coach. We learned that DeColdis Crawford had done an NIL deal with an air conditioning company, which is beautiful. We now have had the commercial released. Here it is.
I'm so glad we called SOS. RAC is the coldest.
I'm always the coldest.
SOS to the rescue.
Hey, this is DeColdis Crawford, wide receiver from Louisiana, now playing in Lincoln. When your AC isn't the coldest, you call SOS Heating and Cooling. Their techs don't make commissions, so they give you an honest opinion, fair pricing, and longer warranties than the competition, guaranteed. Take it from DeColdis. We will keep you cool this summer.
DeColdis Crawford. You know I love a pun.
So glad we called.
You know I love a pun. They're magnificent in that spot in particular. That video on YouTube alone already has over 5 million views. I don't know that I can put context around this just yet, because what you would spend for the equivalent of 5 million views. There is no way SOS has paid anywhere near that to DeColdis Crawford. A brilliant marketing job. But now the bigger question is which competitor there in Lincoln or Omaha is going to come from behind and undercut that, because there was a very obvious follow-up. DeColdis Crawford, somebody has to go do a deal with the head coach. Why settle for DeColdis when you can have Frost?
AFR.
That was so bad. AFR is brought to you by Darren James and Associates, powered by eXp Realty. Every home listed by every company, all in one place. You know where to find them. Agent225.com. Agent225.com. Y'all, I cannot sing Darren James's praises highly enough. Y'all have heard me for years talk about Darren and my experiences. But the bottom line is, when you want to talk about an ethical guy who works so hard to get results for his clients, that's Darren James. When you have a guy who, with one phone call, you'll understand why I talk the way I do about Darren. When he says his career goal is to put himself out of business, to create a process that's so streamlined, so simplified, so user-friendly for the client that you don't even need a realtor. Well, that authenticity comes through. That's also why Darren James ends up on the Wall Street Journal list of the top 1% of realtors in America.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, Hunt, and Hill, the early line. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today.
The extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
It's kind of crazy how what like a food topic does to people. We were asking about Dennis Allen. Okay, so Dennis Allen, Saints are practicing with the Packers. Dennis Allen was asked if he's had a curd. He's like, I don't even know what a cheese curd is. We started talking about it. I mentioned that I had curds when when LSU played at Lambeau against Wisconsin back in 2016. I mentioned that I didn't have them fried. Apparently, and shout out to Kelly Anderson, who said curds don't have to be fried, but that's how restaurants serve them. She says I go to Milwaukee every year. That's what I had. Was an an unbreaded, maybe a fried but an unbreaded curd is what I had. Stephen D. Crispino.
That sounds gross, by the way.
It wasn't bad. Oh, the other thing I learned, and again, shout out, I'm telling you, I got to get Brittany LeBlanc-May to re-educate me on curds. She also told us that, like, I think when you bite a curd, like, if you know it's good because if you bite it, like, you hear a pop or you hear some type of sound when you eat it. That's how you know it's good or authentic or fresh or something like that. Look that up, please. Like the sound a curd makes whenever you eat it. Stephen D. Crispino says you can get curds at a Dairy Queen. No, thank you. A shout out to Dairy Queen, though, but no, thank you. Bill Schmidt said BJ's has curds. Thad Mathern says Freddy's and Dairy Queen. Again, I don't think I'm going to go to Freddy's or Dairy Queen and eat a curd. Let's see, where else? Crave Restaurant in Moreau runs a cheese curd special as an app every week. And apparently the Smiling Dog used to be the Londoner.
Yes.
Until the original owners, he says, in some city in Texas broke their handshake in agreement to allow Baton Rouge to use the name. Well, that was, I don't know the ownership of the Londoner anymore, but it used to be our friend Luke Betts. May still be. I don't know. Anyway.
I'm not seeing anything on a sound a curd makes.
I'm telling you, it's that I remember that. It's something about like the sound a curd makes when you bite into it, so you know it's fresh or good or something like that. Why would I make that? You think I could just make that up?
Know.
Do you think I could make up this information about a curd? Look at Paul's laughing like he knows the absurd, right?
You're right.
Thank you, Paulie. So what am I trying to remember here?
I think whenever we were trying to taste them, they said something about it squeaks.
It squeaks.
Boom,
okay.
I was right when he said that. I was looking at it. Why do cheese curds squeak?
Bingo. What does it say?
The elastic protein strands in the curds rub against the enamel on your teeth and create that infamous squeak.
Fascinating.
Science.
By the way, Brandon Landry sent me a picture of the Tunatini.
Bro, he's got all these pictures on his phone. And he just randomly texted to people. I'm telling you.
I said,
I'm on to you, Brandon.
He said, what else you want? I said, the Quattro, which is a former, it's basically a grown-up grilled cheese. But it was like a 4-cheese grilled cheese with marinara sauce and fries. Like in the early days of walk-ons, and Brandon would acknowledge this as well. Like in the early days of walk-ons, it might have been the only thing that was edible. He often says like the only thing we were good at is slinging beers, which they were very good at. And the menu is fantastic now. But he did send me the grown-up grilled cheese, which is sort of the advancement of the Quattro. So he does have a lot of these pictures just hanging out on his phone. Okay. It's after further review. Saints Packers are having a joint practice this week, and I do worry about the joint practice because of what happens at every joint practice. And it's a team's fight. This happened last week. The Broncos and the Cowboys had a joint practice, and the two teams got into a fight because every time there's a joint practice, the teams fight. You have professionals. They're on a practice field. It's hot. It's training camp. Everyone's ticked off. Someone shoves, pushes. You end up having a scuffle. Just yesterday, this was today, the Panthers and the Patriots are having a joint practice, and there were multiple fights, and it led to Kendrick Bourne, Christian Wilkerson, and Kenny Robinson all getting thrown out of practice. Not long after that, James Ferentz and Phil Hoskins got into a fight as well. Do you remember the Saints and the Texans used to have joint practices every year? They stopped doing it because they started fighting every year. This week, Matt LaFleur, because 3 years ago, when Green Bay had a joint practice with Houston again, Jay Sternberger got a concussion because of a fight in training camp practice. And so Matt LaFleur even warned his team this week, hey, we're going to keep it super civil with the Saints. We're just going to be professional. But they're going to fight because they always fight. Now you got Trevor Penning out there. Of course there's going to be a fight this week with the Saints and the Packers. And the problem is there's no consequences. It's like siblings. I have a brother. When we're 16 months apart, we fought all the time. You want to know how we stopped fighting? When there were consequences to us fighting. When we were going to be punished, we were going to get the belt, whatever it was, that's the only thing to make it stop. So until teams or the league start disciplining players, like legitimately disciplining players for fighting, you're going to miss games, you're going to miss checks, whatever, fine, like legitimate fines. It's the only way to stop this behavior, but I don't think it is. Again, I think there is great benefit to the joint practices as long as you don't fight, but they always fight. So find a way to curtail that behavior to get the benefit of the practice, the joint practice, which is more beneficial than the game, and now you're onto something, which is why they keep doing it anyway. Okay, it's after further review. Sports Center coming up. We'll get you caught up on national headlines. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service and name brand tires at wholesale prices. Tell you every single day. If you're looking for tires, maybe you look at the tires, you realize they're getting to be bald, and it's about time. That tread is worn off those tires. It's time. Well, you got to buy tires somewhere. And there's a lot of options. But no one will sell you name brand tires for cheaper prices than Shawbills. Not the box stores, not the membership clubs, not other tire stores. Because Shawbills not only has the manufacturer's promotions, but they also couple their own promotions to get you an even better deal. Learn more at ShawBillsTire.com. That's ShawBillsTire.com. Remember, you can always use your Shawbills credit card and get $50 off your first purchase with your Shawbills credit card. Get an oil change, basically a free oil change. Bumper-to-bumper auto service and name brand tires at wholesale prices. It's Shawbills. ShawBillsTire.com. Shawbills, where we keep you rolling.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you. Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today at revelryteam.com. Revelry Sports, the official tailgate partner of LSU Athletics.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The arthroscopic knee surgery that Jets quarterback Zach Wilson underwent today has been deemed a success, reports ESPN's Rich Cimini. The team not putting a timeline on his return, but it seems to be the same as the 2 to 4 week range the Jets originally envisioned. While that is good news, Wilson missing camp as he gets ready for year 2 is not. Notes our Chris Canty.
Zach Wilson is missing invaluable reps during training camp in order to get said growth. And so there's got to be some concern about, what version of Zach Wilson you're going to see, what you're going to get once he does come back from the injury with all of the missed time, all of the missed practice.
Chris Canty of Canty and Carlin. Quarterback Joe Flacco in line to start the Jets' regular season opener, reports ESPN's Adam Schefter. Mets righty Carlos Carrasco, diagnosed with an oblique strain. He could miss 3 to 4 weeks. The Braves tonight go for an 8th consecutive win as they continue their series with the Mets. Atlanta's 4.5 games back of NL East leading New York. Pirates infielder Rodolfo Castro suspended 1 game for having a cell phone in his pocket during an August 9th game against the Diamondbacks. He's appealing that suspension.
If you need last-minute hires in no time, you need Indeed. Their integrated hiring solution lets you schedule and conduct video interviews all in one place. Finding your next great hire has never been more streamlined. Get hiring at Indeed.com/credit.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. That's right.
Hour two, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. I'm Matt. I am sweating. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Musu. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Feinswog in about 15 minutes. As a beer connoisseur, you better believe he will also be well-versed in cheese curds. We will ask Lee about cheese curds. Get his thoughts on Miles Brennan leaving the program as well. That's coming up. And we are going to head to Green Bay in about 90 minutes. Sean Faazende, Fox 8 New Orleans, is there covering the Saints. He'll give us a practice recap today. Saints and Packers, day one of the joint practices. So a lot to get to here. One of the biggest surprises so far of fall camp for LSU has been cornerback Colby Richardson. And it was one of those deals where this happens. This is very common. When you go out to a practice, the sports information staff often has rosters printed to hand the media as you're walking in, because you have a lot of new players, and there's just a lot of times you're just not familiar with who's who and what jersey number. So sometimes it takes a couple of days to get out there and familiarize yourself with who is wearing what number and the roster. And sometimes when you're looking at a unit, like when, say, like the full defense is on the field, you'll know if you're looking at first team, the second team, whatever, based on uniform numbers you recognize. With this team, it's very obvious with the defensive line. Like if you see 0 on the field and 11 and 18 and 99, like, okay, that's all the starting defensive line. This is your first unit. So it's interesting, as we've been out there at practice, we've seen a lot of 22 with that first unit. 24 is Jarek Bernard-Converse, and he's going to be one of the starters. That much I am completely confident in saying. 24 is out there every time with the ones. He's going to be one of the starters. The question is, who's going to be on the other side? And we keep seeing 22 run out there, along with Seven Banks, who's wearing number 1, and Mekhi Gardner, who's wearing number 2. And I remember grabbing the roster and flipping it over and going, 22. And I'm going, Colby Richardson, transfer from McNeese? Y'all, to tell you how far out of mind Colby Richardson was, Colby Richardson was a guest on AFR at the beginning of June when he announced his transfer. I did not remember him having him as a guest on the show. I sent Muso a text today. I said, hey, go find the Colby Richardson interview from June. Please get some sound bites from it that I want to bring back today. He goes, we interviewed him on the show? Clearly didn't make a giant impression. No disrespect intended. Went back and listened to the interview today. He did a wonderful job. Just when you do a lot of interviews, sometimes things stand out, sometimes some don't. Completely forgot. We've talked so much about Jark Bernard-Converse and Seven Banks and Mekhi Gardner. We didn't talk about this kid at all. I call him a kid. He's probably the oldest guy on the team, actually. He's a 6th-year senior. He's in the same classification as Miles Brennan would have been on this team. And I can't really blame myself because last week after practice, when Brian Kelly, the head coach of the football team, was talking about his secondary, he mentioned Colby Richardson, although he didn't call him Colby Richardson.
Cody Dickerson, coming in.
Usually not great when the head coach doesn't know your name. I remember Les Miles sort of infamously at a press conference one time couldn't remember tight end Nick Jacobs' name. So at the podium, he just kept going, Nick. He just couldn't find his last name. Not a great thing. And Nick Jacobs actually went on and played in the NFL and was a really good-looking athlete and all. This is the opposite of that. For what it's worth, trouble with his tight end. Out on the team. Cole Carolina. Cole, not a player on the team. But poking fun intentionally, not being serious. Please don't misunderstand. Point. At this point, undeniable. Has earned reps that he has gotten and very well could end up playing a significant role on this defense because he has been so far that good that he has really forced his way into this rotation. Richardson is, by the way, 24 years old. 24 years old. Y'all, Derek Stingley will be 24 when he finishes his 3rd year in the NFL. For some context, okay? Marshawn Lattimore, who's been in the NFL since 2017, Marshawn Lattimore's going into his 6th NFL season, is 26 years old. He's only 2 years older than this guy. When Richardson was on AFR back in June, I did talk to him about his decision to pick LSU and sort of how the turnover in that secondary influenced him because he was a Colorado State commit. I mean, McNeese, y'all. He's at McNeese. Battled a lot of injuries. Finally got a chance to play a year ago. Was transferring out. Was committed to Colorado State. And then Frank Wilson swooped in.
It's just a natural competitiveness in me. I'm actually not worrying about who all there. I mean, I just feel as we all can learn from each other. I feel as the guys there are going to make a highly impact, and I just think that adding me to that secondary to make that secondary that everyone remember of LSU, which is DBU. So when, I got the call, that was I would say that was a thought process, but I guess by me being so competitive in life and everything I do, I feel so much comfortable in my game to go out there to compete with the best.
He also talked about the opportunity to represent LSU was a dream come true, which I think we all could understand why that is something that he very much covets. I also asked him if he's more comfortable inside or out, because right now he's playing on the outside.
I would say outside I'm most comfortable, but I would say I'm a versatile player. I played mostly every position on the field throughout my high school, throughout my life in football. So I just feel as my athleticism could put me anywhere on the field, and I just love the game of football so much to the point that no matter what's my job, no matter what's my assignment, I'm going to go out there and do it at 100% with championship effort.
Said he is all about playing special teams as well. Anything he could do to get on the field to help LSU win and bring LSU back to a championship. You have a guy there that the opportunity is not lost on him. A guy from New Orleans who didn't have offers, who went to McNeese, who was there in 2017, battled injury, had the COVID season where they ended up playing in the spring, and is now, as a 24-year-old, sixth-year senior at LSU, having over his previous 5 seasons started just 21 times. Now he's in the mix very much as a guy. And I'm going to tell you the other thing that has me optimistic about this secondary. And I know they've had so much turnover. And I'm the one who said so many times, you are not better with your current group than you would have been with Ricks and McLaughlin. And I would still stand by that. I think those guys have a higher ceiling, undeniably. Those guys are going to be more highly drafted than any of these guys in LSU's team right now. But, Richardson's 24 years old. He's a 6th-year player. Jark Bernard-Converse started 47 games. He's a 5th-year player. 23 years old. Mekhi Gardner. He went JUCO in 2018, played 3 years at ULL, where he started 16 times. He's now a 5th-year player. Sevyn Banks played in 36 games at Ohio State, made 15 starts, battled injuries, but again, 5th-year player, 23 years old. Jark Bernard-Converse, 47 games started consecutively at Oklahoma State, 23 years old, 5th-year player. My point is, you got men. These are 23 and 24-year-old men. How different were you at 18 and at 23, 24? That's what you have here. You have dudes that have been 5, 6 years in the college strength programs that physically are men compared to 18, 19, 20-year-olds. Now, Kayshon Boutte is a problem for anybody. I don't care who you are. Like Jamar Chase took a year off of football, went to the NFL, and wrecked stuff because he's a freak. So is Kayshon Boutte. And we'll see if this secondary can cover another team's best guy, a guy that's going to be an NFL guy. But not everybody has Kayshon Boutte. Not everybody has Jamar Chase or Devontae Smith. I like this group. The people ask me all the time, what's your big takeaway? How do you feel about this team? Has it changed at all watching them practice? The one big takeaway, I'll tell you, the one thing where I have changed, I am bullish on this. I've become bullish on this LSU defense. The LSU offensive line has not been able to block LSU's interior defensive line because I think they're that good. I think when Micah Baskerville is running as your third linebacker, and he's the best, most experienced linebacker you have, that shows you have a lot of confidence in the dudes ahead of him. And I just ran through all the experience you have in the secondary. Again, they haven't played together, but you hope in this instance the sum of the parts becomes as great as the whole when they all start playing together and pulling in the same direction. That's the one big takeaway I have, is you have a defense that is talented, experienced, that needs to come together. And if they all pull in the same direction, can be really, really good. All right, it's after further review. Let's talk beer and cheese curds with Feinswog. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com for the Williamson Eye Center. Again, 924-2020. If you want to see 2020, call 924-2020. Eye care, eyewear, eye surgery. Remember, eye care, go have the annual eye exam for the whole family. Eyewear, if you do wear glasses, buy one. Get the second pair 50% off all this month. And, of course, eye surgery. No matter your age or your refractive issue. You want to see 20/20? The Williamson Eye Center can help. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com. All right, Lee Feinswog next.
AFR.
Bayou Ford has $14,000 off MSRP on a new 2021 Ford F-150. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Hey, Lee.
Hello, Matt. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. You were not.
Really good.
Yeah. Hey, you were not supposed to be here today. Why are you here?
I was able to change my schedule around a little bit, and anytime I can free up 4:15 on a Tuesday. So I know you're the interviewer, but can I tell you one thing and ask one question?
Sure.
Okay. Sports 225 this week is the start of our 28th year.
Okay. All right.
You were back when you were in diapers.
I mean, in some respects, it's not exactly true because the show was Sports Monday, and now it's Sports 225. So Sports 225 is actually 10 years old?
I think it's older. I think we're older than that.
Maybe so. 12?
Yeah.
13?
I don't know. It was around 600 something Sports Mondays when I converted it over. I'm well over 1,000 now.
It's a lot.
And yeah, exactly. And there is that. So my question is, has LSU ever opened its football season on a Sunday before? I was just thinking about it. I thought you would know.
They opened in 2018 against Miami on a Sunday. That game in Jerry World was a Sunday. And
I knew you would knew that.
Yeah, I can't remember another one. If there was, someone will remind me. But fact check me, Muse, if you wouldn't mind on that one. But I'm 99.876% positive that was a Sunday when they played Miami in that game back in 2018.
Yeah, there was the Monday home opener because of a hurricane once.
That was 2005, when they played Tennessee.
Yeah.
But that was the home opener. Remember, they opened the season with the game in. It was supposed to be a home game. They got moved to Tempe.
Yep, I do. How about that? So when you sent me the note about the things that to talk about today, I had to start laughing because there's about a million things I thought I'd talk about today when I woke up, and not one of them was cheese curds.
Sunday, September the 2nd, LSU 33, number 8, Miami 17.
Got it.
How you like me now?
98.76%, I think is what you said.
I thought you had a reason why you were asking me, or you were gonna.
No. Just it was a curiosity question. I knew you would know.
Okay.
And you might not have discussed it, so it's just another trivial topic to throw, in what is always a trivial visit.
Cheese curds.
Love cheese curds.
Do you?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
What is your experience with cheese curds?
Well, for starters, poor Dennis Allen, for a guy who's coached in a lot of places, he's got to get out a little bit more. I know he's never coached in Green Bay or Minnesota, and certainly not the Canadian Football League, but you would think on one trip up north, he would have had cheese curds.
I agree.
So, cheese curds are just, they're so tasty in two different ways. The first, of course, is if you just have them when they're fried, if they're seasoned right, and just pop them and have them with beers. They're so good.
So
and
that's
so good
how
for
you
you,
have
too.
them, huh?
No. My favorite way to have them is when you're in Canada and you have them on what they call poutine.
Oh, poutine. That's fries with gravy.
Fries with gravy and cheese curds.
Oh,
yes.
with cheese curds on the gravy? That's
yeah.
Well,
Now,
I've had
Matt,
that. So when I was in Grand Cayman, oddly enough, Moffitt, when he was here a couple of weeks ago, because Coach Moffitt and his wife Jill were going to Grand Cayman, and a buddy, med school in Grand Cayman at St. Matthews, and they hung it behind the bar. A lot of the workers, the hospitality workers in Grand Cayman, were Canadian, and so one of the dishes was poutine. So I ate a ton of poutine and drank a lot of Red Stripe when I was in Grand Cayman.
Oh, and how can you go wrong with that?
I didn't. I would go to the little corner store next to the resort. I'd buy a 20 bottle case of Red Stripe and drink it every day I was there.
So good.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the
be
poutine.
27 again.
Oh yeah, where it wouldn't. Yeah, could you imagine a weekend like that now? You'd pay for it for a month. But and so poutine, if really good French fries with the cheese curds on them, and then brown gravy. But the best I ever had, and I think it was in Montreal, was exactly that, but with faux gras in addition to that.
Okay.
So there is no better food on earth, and I know there's a lot of conversation about whether it's even ethical because what happens to it. But goose liver It's a pate, and it's on there. Oh my gosh, is that good? And so good for you. And the the calorie volume of poutine by itself, but throw on some foie gras, which pound for pound might be the most high caloric thing on the planet.
What is foie gras? Foie gras.
It's goose liver in essence.
Why would you want to eat goose liver?
It's the way it's prepared. It's just so good.
Okay.
And I don't know if I'm describing it right by just saying goose liver, but it's
Any beers that you would prefer to pair with cheese curds?
Oh well, if you're in Canada, you got to drink some Molson, right?
Isn't Foster's brewed in Canada? They say Australian for beer, but it's actually brewed in Canada.
I don't know where Foster's is brewed.
I'm 99.876% positive that Foster's beer is brewed in Canada. I think it says it on the can.
All right, I'll have to believe you. But Molson, for one, Labatt's. And you know what? When I've been out with the guys up there in Canada, a lot of them, they're just drinking Coors Light, But me, I'm drinking Molson whenever I can.
He's Lee Feinswog. We will come back to the beer conversation as we always do here in a moment. Did you have another thought there? I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, it's good. I was, foie gras is described properly as
okay.
The well-known delicacy in French cuisine and other things. I've had foie gras by itself in Paris.
I'm not opposed to eating darn near anything. As a matter of fact, when we were in Atlanta for SEC Media Days, went to dinner with some friends from Super Talk, Mississippi, and Cobble came with us as well. And Cobble, who has traveled, Cobble is a military brat, so they lived in Germany and all over. He ordered snails. Help me, snail. Escargot. He ordered escargot. That was my first time eating escargot. Yes, it was very good.
Oh, and you tasted one or two?
Yeah, it wasn't that good.
Oh,
I didn't like it.
No, I could see putting escargot on poutine. Now you're talking.
Maybe so.
Cheese curds and escargot. Woo.
Make sure that you're tuned into Sports 225 for more scintillating conversation like this. One sports-related topic you might discuss is Miles Brennan. Do you think Miles Brennan's a quitter?
Oh gosh, no. I mean, he's probably hurting, right? I mean, physically, he's been through the ringer. He's in school. He's 6 years. How many degrees does he have?
Oh, just one, but he's working on number 2.
Yeah. No, I would never say that. I mean,
I agree.
I can't imagine that he didn't just have all he could take. And he also probably saw the writing on the wall that he wasn't going to play.
Yeah,
evidently,
supposedly he was told this weekend that he was not going to be the starter. And it was evident being out there. Like, he was running a distant third. It was just very obvious that this coaching staff wants a different skill set out of their quarterback, and they have it with 2 other guys, or 3 other guys, actually. Yeah,
you went to practice, huh?
Yeah,
Finally got to go. Was it fun?
Brian Kelly's been giving us access, which is amazing. It just shocker, but it's easier to cover the team when you actually get to see them.
Yes. I mean, so funny how that goes.
It is kind of funny.
Basketball practice used to be open at LSU until Trent Johnson came. And I remember saying to him, Trent, what are you closing practice for? I mean, I got nothing else to do in the afternoon. Love to watch you guys. Well, that's kind of like my teaching classroom. You wouldn't let anybody into a classroom, would you? Well, I don't know how'd that go for you.
Yeah. I don't know. I will say this about Brian Kelly. I think he has been whenever I was at media days, I got asked a lot about the fit with Brian Kelly, right? I mean, that's just the question everybody asks. And
no doubt.
I've said over and over again, like, you don't have to like gumbo to coach at LSU. I always bring up Skip Bertman and Dale Brown and Nick Saban, the 3 greatest coaches that LSU's ever had in any sport. That had nothing to do with Louisiana and actually very foreign. They just have to win. But the perception of Brian Kelly, I think, is that he's cold, northeastern, standoffish, all of that, very sort of rigid. My experience has been very different. I think he has done a very good job of trying to meet everyone halfway. For example, one of the things he did whenever he got here is he closed off football ops to the former players. Where, I mean, Ed Ogeron, you could walk in, any player could walk in anytime they want to ever. And Kelly was a hard and fast no. Well, a lot of people didn't like that, former players. And so he started to, like, to massage that and sort of meet people halfway. He apparently never had this kind of access at Notre Dame. He's giving the media here the opportunity to see more practice, and we'll see what everyone sort of does with that responsibility. But I think, I don't know, I'm just rambling a bit, but maybe I'm getting to a point to say I feel like he has been far more warm and open and agreeable than what he was described or what many might expect of him.
100%. You're absolutely right there. But talk to me after a tough loss.
Absolutely.
See how he acts.
That is the exact point I bring up. What's it going to be like on the Monday after a loss? Absolutely.
Right. And again, since we're about to get to it, I've never had a beer with the guy. I always like to, and it doesn't have to be a beer, and it doesn't have to be alcohol, but it's always, something that you sit down, you have a beer with a guy, and you talk about things other than just say football. In the case of a football coach, you get a better feel for him. And I'm sure I'll never have that opportunity. But if he were going to drink beer, I do have one for you.
Well, in that instance, let's hear about that beer.
What is the malted liquor? What gets you drunker quicker? What comes in bottles or in cans? Beer. Can't get enough of it. Beer. How we really love it. Beer. Makes me think I'm a man. Beer. I could kiss and hug it, but I'd rather chug it. Beer. Got my belly out to here. Beer. I could not refuse it. I could really use a beer. Beer.
Take it away.
Well, Matt, this summertime heat obviously isn't going to go away, and you just can't stay inside all the time. So sometimes you just got to drink a beer in the heat.
Yeah, you do.
And you do. And NOLA from New Orleans, the NOLA Brewing Company, part of its Squeeze series right now, the one that continues on through September, Tangerine Squeeze. It's a wheat ale with tangerine. And I'm not even a big tangerine fan, but this one tasted really good, 5.5% alcohol. According to its notes, aroma, mandarin oranges, bready wheat, tang, taste, slightly sweet, slightly tart, huge tangerine flavors balanced with bready malted wheat, mouthfeel, light to medium. It's got a real nice carbonation, real nice taste. And a wheat ale is always a nice beer on a day like today, and I really liked it. I had some with some seafood, really liked it. Had some plain, really liked it. And there you go, NOLA Tangerine Squeeze at a store near you. And you'll thank me because it's just a really nice little subtly flavored beer.
Well, that was terrific, and it does look absolutely splendid. Thank you, Lee.
It is. All right. Great to chat, Matt.
It was wonderful as always. We'll visit again next week. That's Lee Feinswog. This is AFR, brought to you by DraftKings. Y'all, college football is here. Have you heard the latest promotion yet that DraftKings is offering? All the action is about to be at our fingertips. And right now, new customers bet just $5 on any college football game, prop, odds, preseason, whatever, maybe win totals. Bet just $5, and instantly they'll give you $200 in free bets at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. But you've got to use the promo code Baton Rouge. So you've heard us talking about DraftKings for months now, actually almost a year now. It's been longer than a year now. And you've been on the fence, and maybe now that it's college football season, you are ready to jump in. Well, this is the time, y'all. This is the time right now. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. Bet just $5 on any college football bet, and they'll give you $200 in free bets. That's at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. But you got to use the promo code Baton Rouge. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes only. One per new customer. Minimum $5 deposit and wager. $200 issued as 8 $25 free bets. Restrictions apply. See terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Licensing partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-7-0-STOP.
AFR.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. Miller Lite has more taste and only 96 calories. It's Miller time.
This isn't just another day, it's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Look, I thought it was good work today. I spent most of the time over with the offense today on that field. I thought there were some obviously some good things. I thought the period, the first period started out pretty good. Don't know that we were as good as I wanted to be on third down, and then I thought move the ball was pretty good. So it was good work. We had some situational work. We had some, kind of game-like conditions, and I thought we utilized the time to get better.
Dennis Allen there at the Saints-Packers joint practices. After the joint practices today, two teams will practice together all week. They'll have their preseason game at Lambeau Field this weekend. Jameis Winston just did some side work today. He remains day-to-day. Can you play 6, please? Here was Dennis Allen on whether or not Jameis might take on a bigger role tomorrow.
I don't know the answer to that. We'll evaluate him this afternoon and even in the morning to see where he is and how he's feeling, and then we'll make a decision probably tomorrow morning.
Translation, no. Because if the answer is, it's like multiplying by 0. It doesn't matter how big the stack, big the number is on this side. If you're multiplying by 0, it's 0. when that's your starting quarterback who missed all of last year with a torn ACL, and essentially the ceiling of your season is predicated on this guy reaching his personal ceiling, there is no sense in running him out there 3 weeks from your opener when he's still got a bum wheel. Just let him do work on the side. Let Andy Dalton get the reps. It's okay. That's what they're going to continue doing, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Sean Faazende, Fox 8 New Orleans, is going to be here in 45 minutes. He's in Green Bay, was there at the practice. We'll get his observations coming up in just a few. I had a great time today. By the way, the Bucs have added another big-name free agent that I want to talk about, and I just am not buying this team at all. Maybe I'm a gigantic homer. I'm just not buying them. I'll get to that in a second. Huge shout-out to Adrian and Brandon Holly. Relief Windows had their formal ribbon cutting today of their new facility on Airline Highway in Prairieville. I was fortunate enough to be there. It was just a great opportunity personally to be there to support some great friends of mine. They've been awesome friends and obviously sponsors, and we've endorsed them for a long time, but they're just amazing people, and I love them dearly, and I'm so happy for them. It took years, especially after the flood of 2016, to work on permits for new construction and everything they had to do, and the finished product is amazing, and I just congratulate them so sincerely. If you haven't been yet, the Relief Windows showroom is open on Airline Highway in Prairieville, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, so you can walk through it. It's open. They got a great cafeteria area with refreshments. You can see demos of all their products, if it's the windows, the doors, or, of course, like we've been talking about, the Hardy plank and vinyl siding. It's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. 288-8138, 288-8138, ReliefWindows.com, and now open ribbon cutting today, the new location on Airline in Prairieville, the Relief Windows headquarters. All right, it's after further review. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Wednesday, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Tuesday have agreed to terms with Carl Nassib, who played previously for the Bucs, has been with the Raiders, and now he's back with Tampa. Spent the 2 previous seasons in Las Vegas with the Raiders, starting 5 of 17 games and recording just 4 sacks. I understand that as long as Tom Brady is the quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Bucs are going to be a betting favorite in the NFC South, in the NFC, for the Super Bowl. They're going to be among the odds-on favorites. Tom Brady's already won a Super Bowl in Tampa. They were back in the playoffs, lost a home playoff game a year ago. I get it. It's Tom Brady. I get it. But at some point, Tom Brady, his run will end. And I can't help but look at this Tampa Bay team and think this is probably the closest. And maybe this is poking the bear, tugging on Superman's cape, or whatever phrase you want to use. But I think so much of the perception of this Tampa Bay team is centered around a lot of the players they have brought in free agency. And I'm telling you that every time I look at the players that they have brought in free agency, I keep seeing old dudes that are way past their prime. You can sit here and say, man, they signed Julio Jones. Do you realize Julio Jones is 33 years old? The franchise for which he is their best player kicked him to the curb. He went to Tennessee and had literally the worst season of his NFL career. What do you expect from Julio Jones? I don't expect much. Kyle Rudolph, same situation. Last year, he is now 32 years old, by the way, and last year had the worst season of his career since his rookie season. Got a guy like Gio Bernard hanging around. Big name. Gio Bernard was at one point a really good running back. He's 30 years old now. Gio Bernard last year ran for 58 yards. Let me reiterate this. Gio Bernard last year ran for 58 yards. By the way, he also injured his ankle in week 1 of the preseason. Well, today they signed Carl Nassib. And Nassib at one point in his career was a really good edge rusher. In his previous role in Tampa Bay. Carl Nassib's 29 years old. As a rookie, he played in 3 games. In his second year, made 12 starts. Since then, 9, 8, 5 last year, did not start, and had his least productive season of his NFL career. I get that you still got Mike Evans there, and you got Fournette who's getting healthier. I also look and say, on the other side of that coin, you lost all 3 interior offensive linemen. You got a 45-year-old quarterback. Chris Godwin's coming off a torn ACL. The players you've added are well past their prime. Gronk has now retired. Ndamukong Suh started every game for you last year on the interior of your defensive line. He's gone. You didn't re-sign Jason Pierre-Paul as well. He's walked. You lost your head coach. I just look at a Tampa Bay team that has had so much turnover and that added players with whom we're familiar, but that objectively are not in their prime or anywhere near it. This, to me, feels like the 2010 Vikings. Brett Favre and the Vikings had that great run in 2009 that ended in the NFC Championship game in the Superdome. Favre ran it back one more time to try to get back to the top of the mountain, and that season did not go well for the Minnesota Vikings in 2010. Brett Favre was injured. It just ended with a whimper for him in that season and for them in that season. Brad Childress was fired after they started 3-7. They finished 6-10. I'm not telling you I think this Bucs team goes 6-10. Well, they wouldn't because they play 17 games. But I also think you're here on the cusp of this team finding the downside of Tom Brady's career. I think this is the year that happens. And he'll probably go prove me wrong. It's after further review. We'll wrap up hour number 2 next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Had an awesome conversation yesterday with Miss Teresa over at Clegg's. And part of the reason it was awesome is because she officially green-lighted us to start promoting the fall bedding plants and your fall vegetable gardens. Look, fall means we are officially getting through the summer months, the triple-digit temperatures, and I get it. It's still hot outside. You can walk outside. But what it means is it's close. Whenever seasonally we're ready to start planting those fall vegetable gardens, to start planting Johnny Naylor seeds, it means it's almost here. It's another sign that fall and football season and all that great weather is almost here. And Clegg's right now has it. They've got your fall bedding plants. They've got your vegetable plants as well for your vegetable garden. They've got Johnny Naylor's seeds. They've got Buckbusters in stock. They've got deer corn. If you're a deer hunter, you're getting set up for the season, you know where to go. Clegg's Nursery. 4 locations. Buy local, shop local. Tell them Matt sent you. Clegg's Nursery.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and Citizens Bank and Trust hope to add to your football party budget this year with a $5,000 national grand prize or a $1,000 local cash prize. Register for a chance to win at 1045ESPN.com. Best of luck and happy tailgating from Citizens Bank and Trust and 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
If you missed it, Jayden Daniels, Garrett Nussmeier met with the reporters today for the first time in fall camp. We'll reset a lot of what they had to say coming up after SportsCenter. Right now, Musso has Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
Jake Fraley has been on a tear since coming off of the injured list. Just for reference, Fraley was hitting well below the Mendoza line before the injury. He's hitting 247 now on the season. It continued last night. 1 for 4, his 4th home run of the season. Came off of Noah Syndergaard in the 8th inning. So a run scored and an RBI for Fraley as well. It also cost me money on a bet. Michael Papierski, his teammate at the bottom of the order, 1 for 3 last night with a single. Also drove in 2 runs, so productive night for Pap as well. The Phillies grabbed the game 4-3. Alex Lang, perfect inning last night. Said that a lot this year. Didn't walk or strike out anybody. 8 pitches, though, to get the 3 outs, 5 of them for strikes. Recorded his 15th hold of the season. That was in game number 2 of a doubleheader. Tigers won 7-5.
Easy for you to say.
Alex Bregman, if there's anyone hotter right now than Jake Fraley, it's Alex Bregman. 1 for 4 last night, came in the first inning. It was a double, his 28th of the season. Drove in a run as well to give the Astros a 2-0 lead. Bregman's up to 258 on the season with 16 homers and 65 RBIs. Astros fell to the White Sox 4-2. One note from NFL Cutdown Day, that would be Derek Dillon, cut by the Cleveland Browns. Dillon, of course, was in the USFL and then was signed to the Browns a couple weeks ago, but now cut, looking for his next destination. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com. That's LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge is going to get engaged for more than 40 years. You will always get the Lee Michael experience, style, shape, so many questions when it comes to buying that beautiful diamond, the perfect setting as well. Lee Michaels has the experience, the know-how, and they will treat you magnificently. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, no matter your budget. LMFJ.com. LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. 2 locations in Baton Rouge, corporate in Bocage, and the Mall of Louisiana. 9 locations in all. Find that location nearest you at LMFJ.com. All right, it's after further review We did learn Drew Brees' replacement on NBC for Notre Dame this year is going to be former Cowboys head coach and Giants offensive coordinator Jason Garrett. So Brees, after one season with NBC, we know has stepped out of the booth. Still a possibility that he could join Amazon's football Thursday night coverage. But Jason Garrett will take over as the color analyst for NBC Notre Dame broadcast on NBC this year. Jack Collinsworth is going to be the play-by-play man, replacing Mike Tirico, who, of course, moves to Sunday Night Football, with Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit moving to Thursday, and then, of course, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman on Monday Night Football. So a big game of musical chairs for the primary broadcast booths in the NFL and several college slots as well, including Notre Dame. So, again, Jack Collinsworth and Jason Garrett will have the call for Notre Dame football this year. All right, it is after further review. We're putting a button here on hour number 2. As always, we're brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Better coverage for less money. 293-0450 or LAinsurance.net. Hit the camera, Paulie. Saw it shake. Hit it with that. Wait, I did. Hit it. Just balls on accurate. Just nailed it right there. All right, let me knock out a quick break. When we come back, some love for Brian Kelly in coaching rankings and Nussmeier and Daniel Speak.
AFR.
Let me take 60 seconds, remind you about Michelli weighing and measurement. It was really cool. I got a text yesterday on the show from someone who just said, hey, I just passed a Michelli truck. I bet that's probably something you never thought. It was Wayne Ferguson who said it. Probably something you never thought you'd say in the past. But, of course, I'm so pleased to sing Michelli's praises because Michelli is a great local business and has been locally owned and operated for 75 years, celebrating 75 years in business. Think about how many businesses come and go in a year or in a decade. 75 years, 29 different locations across 11 different states, 6 calibration labs in Louisiana alone, including Harahan, Baton Rouge, and Lake Charles, where they are all hiring right now. So if you're thinking about a career change, you want to work for a great local company that's been around for 75 years and has that stability, Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Go to Michelli.com, hit the careers tab right there at the top to learn more. Michelli.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. ESPN's Rich Cimini's reporting the knee surgery Jets quarterback Zach Wilson underwent today has been deemed a success. The team won't put a timeline on Wilson's return, but it seems to be the same as the 2 to 4 week range the Jets originally envisioned. Joe Flacco's in line to start the regular season opener. Nestor Cortez on the hill when the struggling Yankees look to get back on track as they continue their series against the Rays. After a great start to the season, New York scuffling since the All-Star break. 8-16 has been shut out 4 of the last 9 games. Injuries, just one issue for the Yankees, points out ESPN and Yes Network MLB analyst David Cohn.
Their pitching went through a little bit of a slump. Their rotation kind of got knocked around, and the offense was still producing, and now it's just reversed. The last go-round through the rotation, the pitching's actually been pretty good, and now it's the offense that's kind of slumping, 2 straight shutouts. So it's kind of that perfect storm of, you know, the old cliche, when we hit, we don't pitch, and when we pitch, we don't hit. And
David Cohn on Barton Hahn. Mets right-hander Carlos Carrasco diagnosed with a left oblique strain. He could miss 3 to 4 weeks.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. And now, a no-frills ad brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Here it is. You can save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive. That's it. See? Just a good old-fashioned, straightforward ad. See if you could save at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE or Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. Let's ride.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
All O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Me, you so. And Mr. Toby Tomplin. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. LSU football, we have learned their scrimmage tomorrow is instead going to be an open practice at the McClendon practice facility. They were set to scrimmage in Tiger Stadium tomorrow. That has been moved to the McClendon facility, and the media will have access. So similar to last Thursday, we will, on tomorrow's AFR, be able to give you a full, extensive practice report after we see the Tigers, and Brian Kelly will meet with the media after practice. So should be a very LSU intensive day tomorrow after we have the open practice for the Tigers. Of course, the Saints continue to work out in Green Bay. Sean Faazende, 30 minutes from right now. Today was a pretty big day because both Jayden Daniels and Garrett Nussmeier met with the media for the first time in fall camp. Garrett Nussmeier was asked a question that we've sort of talked a lot about here, which is the need potentially for there to be a mobile quarterback in this offense. My assertion all along has been, it's been pretty clear when you look at historically what Mike Denbrock and Brian Kelly want in a quarterback. It's a mobile quarterback that can use his feet to make plays, to extend plays, to move the pocket, to throw on the run. That's pretty much mapped to what we've seen out at practice, and also why Miles Brennan is no longer here and why Daniels and Nussmeier have emerged as the guys. So it was interesting to actually have one of the quarterbacks answer that question. So Garrett Nussmeier was asked if this offense requires a mobile quarterback.
The style of their offense is definitely a little bit more mobile instead of just a base pro style drop back type offense. But we do a lot of both. That's what I love so much about this offense. There's mobility, but there's also sitting back there and slinging it. So it's a very complex offense and it makes you think a lot. But I love it because it challenges me each day. Makes sure I'm on top of everything. I never go out there in the gray area with things because you'll get lost. So something I love about what they do and their scheme.
I very much respect the candor when he said at the beginning that they want a mobile quarterback. And it's evident. It's just evident by the way that they are drilling these players and everything we see them do. In every practice we've seen, I've not seen a single snap under center. I've not seen a traditional I formation. Anything along those lines. The game is modernized. It has evolved. And the other thing that I'll tell you is, while we have only once gotten to see the first offense against the first defense, that doesn't mean that we haven't had conversations with people close to around the program who maybe have had an opportunity to see things. And one thing that seems pretty clear right now is that LSU's defensive line is having a lot of success against the LSU offensive line. And that shouldn't come as any great surprise. Don't misunderstand me here. I'm not telling you something you probably don't know. You would expect with Smith and Roy and Ali Gay and B.J. Ojulari that front would have success against the line that has basically been a unit as it is assembled for 2 weeks. And guys, a freshman left tackle, a center that's literally never played the position, a right guard that was a freshman All-America at tackle a season ago, a right tackle that's primarily been a guard. You got guys that are really talented. I'll say this again. I think this offensive line in 10 years will look and say all these guys were Sunday guys. But how quickly can they play the position they're being asked to play now at this point in their career against an SEC schedule is going to be the big unknown with this team. But that also is a big reason. Like if you're a coach and you're out there at practice and you're seeing what these coaches are seeing, it also further validates why you need a mobile quarterback. You're going to need a quarterback that's going to be able to evade a rush, to take a broken down play and make it into a positive. And I think the two guys that they have right now are those two guys. Ali Gay also met with the media today, by the way, and he essentially underscored what I just said, which is that this defensive line, it's going pretty well for them right now in fall camp.
Those guys are having a really good camp. That's my unit. So just being around those guys, I lean on them just as much as I would want them to lean on me. And I try to do my job as best I can to push them and, bring them along. And they've came a long way. And now I feel like they've taken it into their own hands to go out there and, do what they need to do. But I have nothing but trust in them, and I can't wait to ball alongside with them boys.
Ali Gay was also asked about the quarterbacks, and for those who have suggested that maybe Miles Brennan was quitting on his team or whatever verbiage you might want to use, I've yet to hear any LSU player say anything negative about Miles, and that includes Ali Gay.
Man, that's my guy. I love him to death, man. He did what was best for him. I support him 100%. He's a great guy. Whatever he chooses to do, I support him 100%. So, sad to see him go, but that's my guy.
For whatever it's worth, Walker Howard quote tweeted Miles Brennan's post yesterday announcing that he was ending his career, and Walker Howard tweeted all love at Miles Brennan with a heart emoji. So these guys respect Miles Brennan. I don't feel like any of them feel abandoned. I think all of them understand it. Now, Ali Gay was also asked about Jayden Daniels and Garrett Nussmeier, the two quarterbacks that are still battling for the job.
Different type of quarterback, but I love the competition that he brings into the practices. So I think it gets us ready for even just Miles and us. It don't matter who's in. So I think they both give us a different type of look in practice, and I really appreciate that because we're gonna see a lot more of that in games. So we got some good guys who are ready to step up whenever.
Ali Gay talking with the media earlier today. Brian Kelly got some bouquets. I want to get to that in just a second. Let me remind you about the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. If you want to look and feel like your younger self, you can. And the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana can help. Simple blood tests can let you know if you're a candidate for hormone replacement therapy. And the thing that I learned the first day I ever walked in there is for so many men, and roughly half of their clients are men who go for hormone replacement therapy. Usually you get in there. If you start on hormone therapy, you start feeling better. And then you start looking around and going, what else y'all do? Maybe some Botox, maybe some laser hair removal, laser tattoo removal, VeloShape, UltraShape, full menu of services. That'll get you looking and feeling like your younger self. The Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. Ever since Brian Kelly took the LSU job, it feels like there has been just a lot of negativity thrust his way, and maybe it was the how he left Notre Dame that turned a lot of people sour. Maybe it's something else I just don't even know. Maybe he's just not a very likable figure. So when I saw this list today, I'll acknowledge I was a little taken aback. ESPN ranked the best college football coaches and put them in tiers. So it was, national contenders, sort of next up, like the next tier, then overachievers, and then coaches who were sort of off to a fast start in their coaching career. When you look at the national contenders, number one on the list is very obvious, as we all know. It is Nick Saban, number one, with his 11 conference titles, his 7 national titles during his time at Alabama. Number two, although there might be a little bloom off of the rose, Dabo is there at number 2, who has won a couple of national titles. He's played for a couple of more. He's 52 years old. And in 14 seasons at Clemson is 150-36. He has basically turned Clemson from what was at one point a verb, Clemsoning, to a national power. Kirby Smart, number 3. At 46 years old and coming off a national title. A bit surprised to see Lincoln Riley at number 4. Lincoln Riley inherited an amazing situation at Oklahoma. He inherited a very healthy program. And I would have very much liked to have seen, and maybe we'll get evidence of that here with Lincoln Riley at Southern Cal, where he's inheriting not a great situation, although he has Caleb Williams and he's got Jordan Addison there as well. So he's got some nice building blocks this year, but Lincoln Riley, again, inherited a great situation and has not had to build from the ground up, something Brian Kelly has done, and we see Brian Kelly ranked 5th on this list, only behind Nick, Dabo, and Kirby, who have all won national titles, ahead of Jimbo Fisher, who's won a national title, Mac Brown, the other active coach who's won a national title. So the only coach on the list without a national title, ranked ahead of Brian Kelly, is Lincoln Riley. They mentioned the success he's had everywhere he's been, Central Michigan, Cincinnati, Notre Dame, and how he's been upfront about how national championships are his only goal. He has played for the 2012 national title in the BCS era, made 2 college football playoffs. He won 2 Division II national titles at Grand Valley State. So he's got 1 box left to check on his resume. If you're wondering, Ryan Day 6, Jimbo 7, Jim Harbaugh 8, James Franklin 9, Luke Fickell 10. Brian Kelly right there. I'll say it again as I've said before. If you need a reason to be optimistic that LSU will overachieve this season, will achieve more than what maybe prognosticators are anticipating for an LSU program that's come off back-to-back 500 seasons, it's this. It's the fact that LSU still has talent. I'll remind you that only Georgia had more players drafted a year ago than LSU. That's not a reflection of LSU's talent. That's a reflection of Ed Orgeron and his coaching staff. To have 10 players drafted off a team that went 6-6 and 7 after losing the bowl game. You will have talent on this team, and Brian Kelly has won everywhere he's been. He has brought a degree of order and structure to LSU that has not been there in nearly 2 decades, and it will be very, very fun to watch this program regain its place among college football's elite. And I think they're going to do it sooner than later. All right, to after further review, let me knock out a break. We'll come back. Sean Faazende, bottom of the hour, so about 18 minutes from right now. I do want to come back and talk a little bit about the Saints roster bubble. There's a couple of players in particular that are former Saints draft picks that I think are very, very much on the roster bubble right now. We'll talk about them when we come back. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. Man, if only DeColdest Crawford had stayed with his LSU commitment, he could have done a DeColdest ad for River City's 1 Hour Air. Instead, you're stuck with me. But you know what? I'm glad to sing their praises because River City's 1 Hour Air has treated me and my family great for years. There have been opportunities, like I've told you in the past, on the weekends and holidays. A few years ago on Easter Sunday, we came home. Our AC was out, called River City's 1 Hour Air. They had a technician at our house after 5 o'clock on Easter Sunday. They're always on time or you don't pay a dime. Nights, holidays, weekends, if your AC goes out, they'll come fix it. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. Give them a call. Read the Google reviews. I encourage you to do that all the time because you will see and read from so many other people what I tell you every single day, which is you're going to have an exceptional customer service experience. You have a knowledgeable technician that's going to make you comfortable around your family and is going to do the job right the first time. River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Ford has $14,000 off MSRP on a new 2021 Ford F-150. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Vizzy, the first hard seltzer with antioxidant vitamin C. It just hits different. Vizzy, step up your seltzer game.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, Sean Faazende from Green Bay in about 12 minutes from right now. Looking forward to that conversation. This is a very, very big week. I don't want to overstate it, but considering the last preseason game is generally just guys that are not going to make the team, and it's really just an opportunity for guys to put out tape for whoever might be their next employer. This is a massive opportunity for several guys, and I'll point out 3 former draft picks that are all very much on the roster bubble, and 2 of them I don't think really have much of a shot at all of making this team. One is Ian Book. Ian Book, I can't see a way that he makes this team. He might make the initial 53 to protect him, and then a day later be cut, and then hopefully signed to the practice squad. I'm sure they, as a former 4th-round pick, they will want to keep him around to see if he can continue to develop and potentially be maybe a backup quarterback, a serviceable backup. But we all watched the game on Saturday, and a year ago, the Miami game was just unfair to judge Ian Book because of what he had surrounding him in a regular season NFL game. But he is very far from being a consistent, competent quarterback in the NFL. So when you invested a 4th-round pick, I'm not saying that is an irrelevant asset, but it's not an asset that's going to justify a spot on the active roster for a player that's not playing well and is not going to contribute this year. So I don't expect Ian Book to make the roster. They're going to cut him and hopefully re-sign him to the practice squad. Traquan Smith's time in New Orleans is going to be done. You all know how I feel about Traquan Smith. I haven't hidden it. I want to be very clear. It's not a personal thing. Traquan Smith may be a wonderful person. I can't say that I know him. I'm specifically talking from a football aspect of contributing to this team. He has been woeful. He is a guy they invested a 3rd-round pick in back in 2018, and he has had his opportunities when this organization needed him to step up, and instead we've seen guys like Deontay Hardy, Marquez Callaway, rip away those opportunities from a guy that was a 3rd-round pick and has just refused to take a step forward in his career. And the evidence of that, or the validation of my feelings, is the fact that as a free agent, the Saints let him go test the market. He had 1 workout with Atlanta. 1 workout. And they didn't sign him. So he's back in New Orleans on basically a 0 guarantee deal to try to come earn a roster spot. And on this team, I'm going to tell you, he ain't it. The Saints are going to keep 5 receivers. We know who they are. They're going to keep 5 receivers. They're going to keep Michael Thomas, Jarvis Landry, Chris Olave, Marquez Callaway, Deontay Hardy. That's your 5. It ain't going to be Traquan Smith. And he did himself no favors against the Texans this past weekend. So, finally, we will be able to wash our hands entirely of Traquan Smith. The other one that I'm really, really, really hopeful for is Zach Bond. I'm not going to tell you I have a great degree of confidence in Zach Bond turning the corner, but I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. And we've referenced this a couple of times, but I think the 2020 draft class deserves a little more leeway because they didn't have rookie minicamp. They didn't have a true offseason. It was such a weird year with all the COVID protocols and everything. And I'm not making excuses for Zach Bond. But I think similarly with guys like Cesar Ruiz and Adam Troutman, those were not NFL-ready guys. Ruiz might have been had he been playing center, but we've gone over the circumstances of why he's playing guard. And the same with Troutman coming from a small school at Dayton. It was natural to think he was probably going to need some time to develop, and you essentially flushed his rookie year. So I'm almost looking at this for those 3 guys. By the way, Tommy Stevens was also part of that draft class, and we all know he didn't make the team. That was Sean Payton acting like a pissed-off teenager. Oh, you ain't taking our guy we want. Now I'm trading other picks to get a guy who's not going to make the team. Anyway. But I really hope Zach Bond steps. He needs to step up. He didn't play against the Texans this last weekend, but look, this is also sort of an interesting opportunity for Zach Bond because Zach Bond is a guy who played at the University of Wisconsin. So he, in some respects, is kind of back home in a place where he's comfortable, being back at, in Wisconsin. It was interesting today. We played the soundbite from Dennis Allen early talking about he didn't know what a cheese curd was. Well, Zach Bond, who played his college ball at Nebraska, was asked about this, and he actually had some fun with the media whenever they asked him about it.
I think Wisconsin's a very underrated state, and we stay low-key. Not everyone has to know what a cheese curd is. They'll figure it out if they want to, and then they'll be surprised by the result.
I think Bond, it was good to see him loose and better to see him actually on the field. He played just 17% of the team's defensive snaps a year ago. And as a third-round choice, I want to remind you that when Zach Bond was coming out of the draft, and I went and kind of jogged my memory because it's been several years now, but I went and looked up sort of like a cumulative mock draft projection for Zach Bond. These were analysts from the Draft Network where they projected Zach Bond. 26 to the Miami Dolphins, 26 to the Miami Dolphins, 30 to the Green Bay Packers, 23 to the New England Patriots, 29 to the Tennessee Titans, 28 to the Baltimore Ravens. Ryan Wilson of CBS Sports had him going 32 to Kansas City. Another at CBS Sports had him 27 to Seattle. Another at CBS had him 28 to the Ravens. Do you understand my point? USA Today had him going 24 to the Saints in that draft. I just read for you 10 draft analysts that had projected Zach Bond in round 1. And, of course, he had the dilute sample at the Combine. And so on many people's boards, he dropped. And it's probably an example of the Saints on draft day looking at the value of a player they probably had much higher graded than a third-round pick, and so they took him, even though Zach Bond isn't maybe necessarily a fit for what the Saints do with their linebackers. Zach Bond can't drop in coverage. We've seen that. He was a really good pass rusher at Wisconsin. That's not what the Saints are asking their linebackers to do, to come off the edge. So maybe it's not a good fit and it'll never work out. But for Zach Bond, if you want to get that next contract, this is it, man. I mean, this is year 3. If you want to go into next offseason with a bargaining chip and let this organization know that they want to keep you, they got to pay up. This is it. And this might be the last opportunity. This preseason game in Wisconsin. Stone's throw from where he played his college football. This week is huge for Zach Bond, who you have to consider is a roster bubble guy right now because of the general lack of depth at linebacker, because of the fact that they brought in John Bostic. They wanted a veteran presence there because of Pete Werner sort of emerging. They did use a third-round pick on him, and they could be. You will be more patient with a third-round pick than you would with an undrafted free agent. Goes without saying. But this feels like a massive, massive week for Zach Bond. Sean Faazende of Fox 8 is up in Green Bay with the Saints, covering them at joint practices. Sean's going to join us coming up here in just a quick second. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. That's southpointvw.com. Get on by and check them out. All of their inventory, I tell you every day, if it's on the lot, it's online at southpointvw.com. 9 different IIHS top safety picks. The safest vehicles on the road. South Point Volkswagen. You'll find them. Go test drive one today and have that peace of mind every time you get behind the wheel of your car, just like I do in my Atlas, just like Erica does when she drives an Atlas. South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland or southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? All right, y'all. It is after further review. As I mentioned, we're not going to break. Sean Faazende will join us from Green Bay when we come back. Otter Locks in about 17 minutes from right now. Find out what we're betting on tonight. Been a really good show. If you miss anything, make sure you catch it on demand. If you're watching on the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel, thank you so much. Please smash the like button. And if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel where you can watch all of our shows. Of course, our daily shows and Scone and Tea, Whiskey and Wine, all the specialty shows we do, companion shows, all right there. All right, it's After Further Review. Sean Faazende is next.
AFR.
Man, I'm going to tell you, I don't know if you liked it, but I loved it. Saturday, I'm watching the Saints play the Texans, and the Rouse's Choppa style commercial was phenomenal. Of course, Choppa, famed Choppa style, it got new life back in 2018 during that awesome run that they had with Choppa style. This is Choppa style to promote, of course, the Saints being, Rouse's being the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints, and the fact that they have curbside and delivery options. So at Rouse's, they will shop for you. Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Go to the Rouse's app or go to rouses.com, select your items. They'll go shop for you. When you pull up, they'll bring it out to you, Choppa style. I love it. Rouses.com, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's, this feels like home.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law office 5343-1111, your law firm for a lifetime.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. Miller Lite has more taste.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Saints-Packers kicked off joint practices up in Green Bay today in advance of the Week 2 of the preseason. Our buddy Sean Faazende from Fox 8 New Orleans is up in Green Bay with the team. He's with us now. Always appreciate it, man. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Is kind of random, but is the weather nicer there, kind of an escape of the humidity? Because the Saints did used to go to training camp up in Wisconsin, didn't they?
Yes, and it's nice, very nice up here. Very sunny. Temperatures in the high 70s. Even had a little breeze earlier this morning. Got a little chilly here last night, as a matter of fact, at least for me, being from Southeast Louisiana. Right. But the weather is it's pretty perfect, to be honest with you.
Sean, let's go through. I want to get into kind of how the practices are structured in just a second, but can we start with maybe some of the particulars as far as who's even available? Like I saw you tweet that Jameis was day-to-day. Can you maybe run through some of the more interesting, the more notable guys that might be limited or absent?
Yeah, well, Jameis Winston was interesting because he got out to practice early, fully padded, and it looked like he was going to give it a go. Did a workout with the team. And then as the rest of the players were able to, get closer and closer to practice time and started arriving, he exited the building or exited the field, signed a few autographs. And next time we saw him, he was without his shoulder pads on. So he did not go. They're going to reevaluate him again tomorrow. He's day-to-day. So that is, they're not going to rush it. They're not going to force anything. And I understand why. I think everyone does. Although I do think he could have gained a lot from this. It's probably in their best interest to make sure they err on the side of caution there. Ryan Ramczyk was back with the first team doing full first-team drills. Now, he hasn't been injured, but it's been more of the load management with him throughout this camp. But Landon Young has gotten the majority of the first-team reps at right tackle. We know he's not going to start at right tackle, obviously, but it's all just to make sure Ryan Ramczyk is fine whenever they go into the regular season. He talked about that a little bit today, but he was back with the first team. Zach Bond was back to work today. He had been out for a couple practices as well. So he's another Wisconsin guy. So off the top of my head, those were the names that had kind of been on the field and some practice, some did not. Nick Vannett did not make the trip. He was dealing with some kind of, I don't know if there's an injury or some kind of illness, but he was not here as well. Taysom Hill was without the red no contact jersey, so he was able to get hit today. So he's back to full go.
Sean, how were the practices or was today's practice structured?
Very different than the ones I'm used to when it comes to these joint practices. Usually you'll get some one-on-ones, maybe a little 7-on-7. They scrapped all of that. It was about a half hour with each team doing their own stuff individually, and then it went right into teamwork. First and second down was one period. First team, second team, first team, second team. And then it went third down. Again, first team versus first team, second team versus second team. And then they went and did a 2-minute drill to close things out. First team, second team. And at the very tail end of it, they did some stuff with the threes. And the only reason why I bring that up is because the name you might remember, the quarterback of the Packers for the third team is Danny Etling.
Sure.
So that's how it went. It was a lot of teamwork, and they sprinkled in some special teams in there. But for the most part, it was an 11-on-11 session pretty much all day, which, I mean, that's how the game is played, so we all enjoyed it.
Sean, is there I said a bit ago that I think for weeks like this, especially for the starters, there's more value in the practice than the game because a lot of the primary players, the key contributors, aren't going to play in the game anyway. Would you agree?
1,000%. And more than that, you can manipulate the situation. Even if the starters played in the preseason, are they going to get a 2-minute drill? Are they going to get a lot of red zone? They might get one. They're not going to get a bunch. So I think you can focus in on the situation. You can hone in on that sort of thing. You can, get different looks from an opponent, unlike, your own guys, which is what a lot of guys talked about today. Again, this is a different climate that they've been in, and it's extensive work where you're being very deliberate in your approach. So I remember talking to Drew Brees about that back when they did the the Costa Mesa practices for years, and that's what he said. He got more out of those joint practices than the actual preseason games. And honestly, I think most people feel that way.
Any standouts today, Sean?
Paulson Adebo had a good day. Bradley Roby had an interception. How about I just say this? Both defenses played well today. Both first-team defenses played well against the opposing offenses. And it was something Matt LaFleur talked before practice, not after. He had hinted at that he felt like the defenses were going to be a little bit faster, a little bit ahead of it today. We're going to do a little bit better work today. And it really, I don't know if something he just kind of felt, or it was the way the practice was scheduled that it would kind of go like that. But nonetheless, both defenses look good. I do think Alvin Kamara had another standout day. It was good to see Ramczyk back. I thought you could certainly tell the difference when he's 100% at right tackle. The defensive line played well. Cam Jordan had a sack. Malcolm Roach had a decent day as well. I'm forgetting a few, but one thing you got to see though, Matt, we all have been watching Aaron Rodgers for years, but when you watch him up close at practice, you can really get a respect and it's amazing how the quick release up close and how he kind of delivers the ball. I think they're working through some stuff with their receivers, and going against the Saints secondary was obviously not an easy task, but you can just tell it's different watching him work because it was something to see up close.
Man, even at this point in his career, man, you're right. It's just different. What about the other side of things? Anybody struggle today?
Well, the Saints during the third down work offensively could have been better. They were a little off target. Dalton the pocket seemed to collapse a little bit quicker on him during that third down work. That part of it could have been a little bit better, but for the most part, they rebounded. It was if this was a game, Matt, I think this would be a pretty realistic showing because there was some ebb and flow to it where, one side did a little bit better than the other side. And I don't know if anyone really struggled. I mean, they had that one tough period for the offense with that third down work. But other than that, I felt it was a pretty good ebb and flow to practice versus, the offenses versus the defenses.
Sean Faazande's with us, Fox 8 New Orleans, on Twitter at Sean Faazande, Fox 8. Y'all be sure to give him a follow. Make sure you watch Fox 8 down in New Orleans for coverage tonight. Go to the website as well. Sean, would you pinpoint a few players who are roster bubble players who need a big week this week?
Yeah, we can go right back to that running back position. You talk about Tony Jones Jr., you talk about Abram Smith. I think he needs to bounce back from that fumble because he had a good game otherwise. You talk about Dwayne Washington, Divino Zigbo. So let's start there as a third running back position. I'll throw another name out there that I think started fast. I think a lot of people have kind of gravitated to him, but I think he's cooled a little bit over the last few days, and that's number 44, Lucas Krull, the tight end. I was really high on him early in camp, but I kind of feel like he's faded a little bit in the last few practices. So I think he needs to kind of reintroduce himself a little bit because that tight end room was one where it felt like an undrafted guy could really make their mark. But, I mean, the last couple of practices, Jawan Johnson has really showed up. So if you're Lucas Krull, I mean, I think he's got to do a little bit better here over the next couple of days and into this preseason game Friday in Green Bay.
Sean, before you go, what's the schedule for Wednesday and then the rest of the week?
Yeah, Wednesday is basically it's scheduled for the exact same time slot as today, which is about a 2-hour workout, 10:30 Central. And then Thursday they do their walkthrough. There's no availability for us. And then Friday, obviously, is the game at 7 p.m. And one thing we haven't figured out yet, or they haven't let us know yet, is A, if the starters will play, and B, for years it was always the third preseason game as a dress rehearsal. Well, now with just 3 preseason games, is that now the second game? That's last year they only had 2 because of the hurricane. So we'll have to see how they approach the second preseason game now that it's, I guess, the second to last one of the preseason.
You gonna eat some cheese curds?
Dude, I'm eating them now. I'm at the 1919 in the atrium of Lambeau Field. They're great.
Hey, I actually was there in 2016 when LSU went up. Great spot, man. Enjoy a brew as well. Hey, we appreciate it. Enjoy the time up there, man. We appreciate you for jumping aboard.
All right, no problem. Thanks, man.
Thanks. That's Sean Faazande, again, on Twitter at Sean Faazande, Fox 8. Y'all give him a follow. And be sure you check out Fox 8's coverage to get all the details from Saints practice there. We're brought to you by Schutz Electric, CESofLA.com, CESofLA.com. Storm season is here. Sean mentioned, of course, the Saints only had 2 preseason games last year because of Hurricane Ida. which displaced many and knocked power out. And should a storm come this year, I will not have to worry because we installed a Generac home standby generator with our friends at Schutz Electric, CESofLA.com. I could not recommend them highly enough. The level of customer service we received was exceptional. From the contact, the communication from Schutz Electric, whenever they installed it, explaining everything to us, it's foreign to me. The other part I didn't even know was permitting with the city. You have to talk to the gas company and all different types of stuff to get that thing installed. Schutz handled everything. That's because they're not just a company that also sells generators. They have a generator division where that's all people do. CESofLA.com. It is affordable. Financing is available. You can request an estimate right there at the homepage. Look at the top right. You'll see where it says request an estimate. CESofLA.com for Schutz Electric. CESofLA.com. It's been a really good show. Appreciate you for being here. Ton of football stuff. We did roll through what both Jayden Daniels and Garrett Nussmeier had to say. If you missed that, that was at the top of the show today. I did run through the Saints roster moves, some of the players in the bubble that I think, thanks to Sean Faazende for joining us. We reintroduced you to Colby Richardson, the cornerback transfer from McNeese State, who's making a lot of waves at LSU practice. If you miss anything, AFR On Demand, presented by Brett Golf. Or, of course, you can check out the After Further Review YouTube channels. It's After Further Review LSU and After Further Review Saints. Please subscribe there and get all the content that you might miss here when we're live. All right, one break left. We'll come back. Jimmy will join us for a little Otter Locks, and we'll see if the Otter can rebound and get on a hot streak again. Stick around with us. It's AFR.
AFR.
Like I tell you every single day, better coverage for less money. That's Insurance Network of Louisiana. 293-0450, 293-0450, or lainsurance.net. They're closed right now, so it may actually be more beneficial to log on to the website. Go to lainsurance.net. Right there at the top of the homepage, you'll see where it says request a quote, or where it says quotes at the top. Just tap that, and you'll get started right there, and they'll get to you as soon as they're back in the office. The process is easy. I tell you about it every single day. They take a little information, then they go shop to see if they can find you better coverage than what you have right now for less money. This was an incredible one that came through. AFR listener named Russell, been with Liberty Mutual for 6 years, switched and saved $2,400 annually and lowered his hurricane deductible from $5,200 to a flat $1,000 deductible. Better coverage for less money. 293-0450, 293-0450, or lainsurance.net. That's lainsurance.net.
Go back to school in style with the new our pre-owned vehicle from Corval Toyota in Opelousas. It's an easy process, and vehicles are getting to our lot weekly. Make the decision now or reserve your new Toyota today. Come on down to Corval Toyota in Opelousas. That's Happy Town, USA.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power. We're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on a Tuesday edition of AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. One thing left to do. Find out what we're betting on tonight. It's time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Workbox Services. For over 20 years, Baton Rouge's leader on on-site construction, industrial, and residential services.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and often incomprehensible, the Yacht Father himself, Jimmy Yacht. Otter, how are you?
I'm better, man. Meatloaf Monday, 2 out of 3 are back on track. Only thing that could stop us was an oblique strain, all right? We got some Cajun season in our blood now,
You know what? I mean, Dodgers last night. The Otter gave you the Dodgers on the run line. The Otter gave you the first 5 under 3.5, San Diego, Miami. And he gave you the Mets on the money line.
Oblique strain. Carrasco's out for a month. Nice job, Carrasco. But that's all right.
That didn't work so well. But 2 out of 3, winning night for the Otter. Nice to say. Let's make it 2 in a row. What do we have tonight?
Look, the heat for scenery is in the rearview mirror. The real temperature heat is now in South Louisiana. Let's get going.
My guy is locked in.
One team that is not locked in, your New York Yankees. They have lost 9 of 11. They've scored 3 or less runs the whole time, and they're still laying big numbers. Let's take Tampa Bay. Sorry, this is a better pitcher than shut them out last night. And the injuries to hurt them as well. So, Giancarlo tonight, the trend is your friend. Let's go with Tampa Bay plus the money.
All right. Tampa Bay on the money line? Tampa Bay money line? Yep.
Yes, money line. Plus 45, 40, something like that. You tell me what you got.
45.
Yep. Okay. Patrick Friend, the gift that keeps on giving. Check out these numbers for Patrick Corbin. 4-16 is his record. His ERA is 7.02. His WHIP is 1.82. That's really bad, but it's not as bad as he's been his last 5 starts. He's gone 9 starts without a W. His last 5 starts, 15 2/3 innings. I hate to bore you with the numbers, but 26 earned runs in 15 2/3 innings. What's that, about a 16.5 ERA? 43 hits and walks over that 15 2/3. That's about a 2.75 WHIP. You do the math, Mike, for Blackman. That's not good. Cubbies minus 1.5 are even money on the road. You got to look long and hard before you lay 1.5 with the Cubbies. But Patrick Corbin is delivered.
Okay. Cubbies on the run line on the road. The Otter is feeling it. Give me more.
All right.
Give me more.
Quintana pitching for the Pirates. I mean, they're horrible. But the last 3 starts with the Pirates, when he knew he was auditioning for buyers before the trade deadline, he went 12 2/3 scoreless innings. The 2 with St. Louis have been very good as well, including one of those at Coors Field. This is a little money line parlay. We're not laying that $2, but we will take St. Louis. They need the win, and they're in contention. And in Minnesota, Sonny Gray's last 4 starts, he's only given up 5 total runs. Kansas City on the road. Again, big favorites, but together, moneyline parlay, they're plus 117. St. Louis and Minnesota, shades of that old World Series where all 7 games were won by the home team. We're looking for the home team to win tonight. Plus 117. Come on, baby. Let's go.
All right. So we've got Tampa Bay on the money line. We got the Cubbies on the run line. And we got St. Louis, Minnesota money line parlay. The Otters feeling it tonight. He's back in a groove. You can just tell the confidence exudes out of him. We got him out of Del Mar. He's not looking at the ponies with vulgar waitresses anymore. He's back locked in, ready to give us winners and cash some tickets. Hell yeah!
Everything, but don't you talk bad about those nice servers in Del Mar. No. So, hey, Meatball Monday, it's Burnside Tuesday, baby. The original Mike Anderson's on lead just off of Nicholson, myself, and Mike Delicano. I miss old Mike. We had a lot to catch up on. Wes Reynolds, how about it? Both he and Matt Humans had Willie Z at 22 to 28 to 1 with the golf picks as they advance in the playoffs. We've got a lot of things going on here at Mike Anderson.
I'm very happy for Matt
1
Humans
minute remaining
to finally cash a ticket on Willie Z. He's got to feel like a proud papa after that one. Jimmy, we appreciate it. Have a great show.
Thank you, Matthew.
All right, Game Time with Jimmy Ott follows us in Baton Rouge. If you're not in Baton Rouge, online at 1045ESPN.com or the Game Time with Jimmy Ott Facebook page. We're brought to you by GMFS Mortgage, GMFSmortgage.com. Changing lives since 1999. Home buy, refi, construction loans, even a cash out refinance. GMFS Mortgage. Get in touch with a local loan officer near you. All over the state of Louisiana. GMFS Mortgage. They can help. They've helped me. They can help you. GMFSmortgage.com. Changing lives. Muse, what'd you learn?
Cheese curd squeak.
They do squeak. Paulie, what'd you learn?
Dakota's Crawford nailed his NIL deal.
Yeah, he did.
What'd you learn, Matt?
Brandon Landry has a treasure trove of professional photos of food on his phone. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, much about Hudco Roofing. HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing. HudcoRoofing.com. As a matter of fact, by the way, if you go check out the Hudco social media, you will see our latest endorsement comes from none other than Mr. Brandon Landry, who was kind enough to do an endorsement for Hudco. Brandon is someone that we have all known for years, and he was kind enough to do an endorsement for Hudco, as we have seen so many others do. As a matter of fact, it was actually Will Stout who put together that video, hired Will Stout to do some videos for us. So we're bringing cool into the roofing game. Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com. Most importantly, when you need a roofer, we're there for you. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. We are local. Hudco Roofing, locally owned, locally operated. Louisiana people, Louisiana materials. It is storm season. Make sure your roof is ready. Free, no obligation roofing inspections, commercial or residential. Give us a shout. Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.